Say the season come out with a bang. Your style and your flavor make the city rock. They must say the season come out with a bang. Coach Minzy, best round here. Remember that.
Yeah, people, welcome back to the show. Welcome back to the coach's desk. This is Coach Minzy. Yeah, man, and we're here for the first night of the weekend's triple treat, my people. And we are looking forward to a wonderful show. Yeah, man, we expect some guests to pass through, you know what I mean? And we have a wonderful time like in the past. I see some early commenters in the comment section. Dazrell, big up yourself. Big up yourself, Johnny Powell. Big up yourself, Blake. GS Ferran, big up yourself. Yeah, what? Jensek or Prezi. Kevin Williams, big up yourself, you know. Yeah, man, we're here to have a good show, good conversation. Jeremy and Allen, bless up yourself. Big up to all the persons who are watching and have not yet commented. Please subscribe to the channel if you're new so that you can become a part of an awesome channel. You know what I mean? Yeah, like the stream. Big up to the people on Facebook. Thanks for tuning in as well. So, as you can see, the topic, bad result, bad performance. But JFF acknowledges being disorganized and unprofessional. Yeah? So, you know, JFF always I get the beating. And I don't know how they're going to be fixing this thing, but it is what it is. And yeah, nothing new, nothing no surprised me when it comes on to JFF at this time. I mean, the girls are disgruntled and yeah, they just voice their opinion, and it is just on the cusp of World Cup preparation. You understand? Blake, big up yourself, Blake. What go on? US dismantle Mexico. Man, the boys are gonna get humbled by the B team. Let us see about that one. Never face Grimo yet, you know. Can't work with that title this week, coach. Both in hiding. What that mean? Can't work with that title this week, coach. Both in hiding. I'm gonna get that, Jason. Let's slow this up. Capo, big up yourself. Bro, man, security, what go on? Big up the whole Antigua. Yeah, man, big up yourself. Fresh got in the building. Capo. Yeah, man, we see the notification just run on Facebook. And we're live about 3 minutes now. YouTube, what go on? Make sure to run on YouTube to YouTube. All right, like up the video, people. As you come in, just like. Hit the like button. Easy thing to be done, you know. Like this. That thumbs up button, you just press it. You understand? Yeah, man, that's how the thing go. Smash it. Smash the like button. Yeah? Who this? Alfred Richards, big up yourself. Yeah, man, like the video. Oh, I just get what you say. I think of the title for the video, you know? Let me just get what you say. Yeah, man, all right. You know, as I talk about that, let's see if we can get Mr. Chug, you know. Because we don't know what go on. Toki, big up yourself, you know. Eagle Republic, bless up yourself. Yeah, man, we'll try to get Mr. Dennis show. Actually, big up. All right. Well, me I get an early call. Welcome to the show. Yeah, man, welcome to the show.
Yes,
You're live.
Coach, me, man.
Well, go on.
Hello?
Yeah, man, you're live.
Hey, it's a Mount Pleasant win the championship.
Who this? A Blair.
I mean, your friend, man, Mr. Boyd, man.
Blair badness. Well, go on.
Yeah, man.
Everything good, sir?
Yeah, man, me miss you all the time, man. Miss you all the time. I'm listen to you all the time.
Okay,
but
okay.
I really want to get entangled with the young youth, you know?
We say no want to get entangled with the young youth, them.
No, because them don't know nothing and no respect. Me I play football long before all of them born.
Yeah.
And when me live in England, all of them born.
Okay, okay.
I mean, I watch from the great King Pele days. We can write a book about sports, you know.
So when you gonna write it?
You play for my school, you play for my club, you know, I play for Jamaica.
Say no need for write it, man. Now we promote it on the coach. We promote it on the coaches.
League and business house and it's something we play.
Write the book, man, and we promote it on the coaches desk as Blair badness.
So I mean, say?
Yeah. So what you think? Tell us about the Mount Pleasant game now and the Cavalier game. What you think about it? Share your thoughts on that.
Me tell you the truth, me never get to watch the whole. I only see the replay.
Oh.
But Mount Pleasant don't play them, you know. Mount Pleasant give them some real ball. Yeah. You them fit on them, man.
Yeah, yeah.
You them very agile and skillful.
So it's a top of outsmart speed.
Yeah, man, he do a good coaching job, and I like you. He do a good coaching job. And when a man carry a team to a final and win championship, you have to big him up. No matter whether you like the man or not, you have to show some form of respect. Because in jail the player them, you know. You see when a coach can make him play, they believe in him.
Yeah.
Like how you see Sammy. Like how you see Sammy now at the West Indies team, at jail the team. The team might reach far enough. Because the player them believe in a Sammy. Because Sammy win 2 World Cup champion as a captain.
Okay.
You understand me? He man motivate the player them, you know. Yeah, you know, like sometimes. All right, let me tell you something because you're young. Listen, let me tell you something. When we got school, we got school in 1962, the 1st of January, before Jamaica get independent. Listen to me. Good. You see, when my neighbor pass common entrance before me pass, in them days then, when your neighbor pass common entrance, you know, his or her neighbor telling them that they can't keep no company with you again. So Jamaica used to run it. You see, I try to be, I like you, know, you all the knowledge. You know.
Yeah.
I think like that. You see, Jamaica have a big class problem, you know. All right, let me give you a scenario. You see, all the man we go to KC, and the man we go to Calabar, Jamaica College or Monroe or Cornwall College or Clarendon College, and a man go like William Nip or the ordinary high school, then I rate them, you know. So Jamaica running. Anytime you and a guy attack, the first thing you ask you which school you go. Kind of man got school and still not bright, you know. Kind of man could have because of scholarship, track scholarship or cricket or football or what have you. And he still don't learn nothing. You understand what I mean? A man might have a degree, you know. The same really bright on you, know.
Yeah.
It's only because you do extra curriculum. But that's how Jamaica run class business. If you don't go to a certain school, you can't make Jamaica team. That's how Jamaica used to run, you know.
Yeah.
And still keep up this. All right, it's all the boy them in the JFF, they come write some comment and they might run up them out. Then you can't talk to them about football, you know. Me watch the Premier League in England from 1964. Me watch the Premier League. We go to England, we go to Liverpool, we go to Manchester, we go to London, all over we go. We go France, we go Germany, all the places we go. You understand me? So, you know, when you talk to the younger youth, them, all right, you don't know the younger, you don't know the player them like oh you know them now. I mean, I really penetrated like you. So you can give me the name of the player them. I mean, I'm not trying to follow them up. So I'm going to listen to what you say with the player them.
Yeah.
Because I'm not going to follow like you. I'm a whole no. That's 70-year-old.
Okay.
That's 70-year-old. So when I'm time for them, you know, say me know you watch them, you know. You understand me? So I know the player them like you, to be truthful. But any of the old time player them from Zico, Serginho, any of the old time player them, you know, Sakati, the whole of them, the man them know. Franz Beckenbauer, me watch the man they play King Pele. The whole of them, the man them watch. Muller from Germany, Muller from Ghana. Watch all of them do the play. We got Liverpool, go watch Liverpool play. You know, we go Manchester, we go Sheffield. We live at Sheffield for how long? Because Sheffield used to have 2 teams, Sheffield and the Sheffield United. Now them something like that. You know, but when you talk to them youth, they will listen and learn because they get experience. You can't just talk about something where you just born the other day. I mean, watch King Pele play at 1978. I watch King Pele play at national stadium when he left Brazil and go New York to play for Star Cosmos. And I let them not know. So, you know, you can't tell me things when I don't know them because I don't know the younger player them. I don't respect you on that.
Yeah.
So if me I show you certain players where you don't know about, you only read about it. Listen what I'm gonna tell you.
Yeah.
Because I mean, you know when England win their first World Cup 1966, never watch the game. A team Germany, you know. Yes, because you can't go on YouTube and you can watch everything alive, I tell you. Because them host the game.
Okay.
And that's what I mean. Germany used to have 2 teams in East and West Germany. 2 teams they used to have. Germany used to have.
Yeah, I know that.
Right. 2 teams they used to have. And shit like that. Germany win World Cup before even Brazil. Yeah. Germany win World Cup before Brazil. That's what I mean. But we got for the youth them to them with because look bad for knows the center of the first rural team that play in the major league. Rural team. And that's supposed to win a championship. You know that?
Yeah.
The first team play when in 1973 when they start play the major league. You know what I mean? They work in time there? In a Kaiser in time they work.
Okay.
In 1973, the Major League started. And Brazil, as I'm telling you the other night, that Brazil from Sentence Bay was the first rural team that made it even. Before Steve and them and Wadad and them and Violet Stickers and Reno them and all them team there. And Hazard. And one team from Manchester ever play in the National League, you know. And Las Perfectos. And no more team that play. You understand what I mean?
Yeah.
All right, but then, you know.
Okay, so we're gonna make you go back on the work, you know. We don't want to disturb you
No,
on
man,
the work.
no, me by myself, you know.
Oh.
I'm on a part-time me doing, you know. A security me doing, you know.
Okay.
Me do police work at Jamaica from 1976, you know. Sometimes me and some people talk. When me go then I'm town all the election. In 76 and all them here. I mean all the boy them know actively a fight. And you know, the shoot up the station and no gunshot to meet down there, you know. Yeah. Spend most of my time I walk out. So. I mean, sorry thing that I really want to talk about. Badness and violence, I we know.
Yeah.
And we join the work. We just join the work right in the election. I'm working all the election.
We don't want to let out too much of a secret still, you know.
No, me here talk, man. No, man. I'm not let out no secret. I'm not let out no secret. Tell the little youth they can't rush me, man. Because me always heavy, you know.
Say you always heavy.
Hey. Gun, man. Me have my life to gun, you
know. No, Blair. We know what you tell them. The world are listening, you know. We know what you tell them that for them can look for you, man. No, man.
No, man. We go through that, man.
No, man. We don't want you tell the people them that. The people them are listening to you now. We know why you tell them that.
Yeah, but hold on. When they don't want to listen to that, they can't do nothing. They can't do nothing. Come on, man. You know better. You know better than that. We're going to bad squad in eradication, you know. We're going to bad squad.
Yeah.
Yes, man. You have eradication yet, man? Yeah. Eradication is bad is police never done to Jamaica, you know. I see them labor right there, mash up. Yeah. Anyway, hold tight, because you don't start the program yet.
No, we are going to go through it now. All right. Big up yourself, Blair. All right.
Yeah, man. Hold tight. Best up.
All right. Yo. Yeah. You see if I'll see you put a foot. Yo. If CC put a foot, look a young boy. Jaja. Jaja. Hey. Let us see if we get Mr. Chung, you know? Because we don't know where Reggae Girls are going with. We're trying to get Mr. Chung, people, for see if him can help you out to do what go on with the Reggae Girls, them. Man saying strap. It look like Ranger and call already, you know. All right, people, we expect some people to come on the show tonight, you know. We expect some people to come back on the show tonight. Yeah, man. We expect some people to forward on the show tonight. Yeah, man, that is every engine in our play. Hey, you see your rich poor? you have something to wait for you. Don't worry yourself. You see where Blair said? One night, last night, you the pan your skin your teeth, and say nothing about that. Me see a man drop that in the comment section, And now you talk about kin teeth. We know the thing with Blair. You just love Blair make him talk. Because if you go like you want to confront Blake, a problem. So we just give the elder the chance to speak and express himself. You understand? Yeah, man. Jay, and big up yourself. So people, we have some people for forward on the show. Yeah, man, we have some people for forward on the show. Some people that you have not seen link up for a long while. So you go tell a friend to tell a friend that we are here. You know what I mean? Because if you ramp with the thing like Blair, hey, Jason, like Blair, man, go bake it. Shadow Star. Yeah, that's true, Burn Jane. So, yeah, people, bad result, bad performance. The coach alluded to that. But the but is that he is not worried. And he said that he's only going to be worried if that goes over into Gold Cup. Wells, me have the link. It's a special group. Me in our get that in the Wells. Me can't just gear right there, so. You can't drop it in as a man. You have to in a special group if you get it. If you follow me on Coaches Desk, you can get it. That Instagram, you have to go follow up on Facebook, you have to go follow up on Twitter, all of the social media them. I'm just send it to you. Yeah, man. So the coach is not pleased with the Reggae Boyz and their performances. Well, their performance in that game against Qatar. And he's also not pleased with the result, but he's not worried. You understand? What does it look like going into that game? I think Sunday we probably can have the preview. All being equal. Sunday evening. Sunday evening, no Father's night still. We don't know what's going on. But yeah, it is what it is, people. I mean, as some persons are alluding to, is that this team is a pickup team. Because we hear that some more JPL players will be going down to Austria to join up with the squad. You understand? So let us see how it goes. But the big contention in people is the whole disorganization and the unprofessionalism from the JFF, according to the Reggae Girls. The JFF, the breaking news I gave last evening would have acknowledged the whole happenings and what transpired. And they basically want to help. But Khadija Shaw people basically went on the attack against the JFF about World Cup preparation. You know what I mean? They're at odds with the JFF one more time. It's not the first. It happened before, and they're at odds with them again. This time, the issue seems to concern practice games ahead of the FIFA Women's World Cup. Of course, you know it's next month in Australia and New Zealand. And Khadija Shaw, as the captain, who has previously not been shy to voice her displeasure with issues concerning team welfare made a post on her social media platform on Thursday afternoon, which targeted the JFF and everybody that me know follow the female football. Yeah, man, they add it up, man. All of the female ballers, them add it up on their social media. You understand? She's not holding back any words, because she said one of the greatest honor for a footballer is to represent the national team. Qualifying for the World Cup is something most never imagined or thought possible of the Reggae Girls, and they did it twice. At a time where we should be focused solely on preparing to compete at the world's largest stage, we are unfortunately compelled to express our utmost disappointment with the Jamaica Football Federation. As me did I wonder if this is a situation where the boys, they might get the highlight and nothing go on the girls' side. You understand? So I'm wondering if this is one of the situations why the girls are being, you know? Now, Shaw indicated that the team has met with the JFF on multiple occasions to hear their concerns over what she describes as a so-far planning, as well as issues concerning transportation, accommodation, training conditions, compensation, communication, nutrition, and accessibility to what she considers proper resources. Hold on, I will go on this. Me a broop. Oh, I da broop let me hear. World Tracy, brother. Oh, I mean Cataract, sorry.
No, they're putting a broop next to my name. My name Wicked Man Broop.
No, man, then that's one that me hear come one time. So the girls have concern with transportation. Transportation probably be if they are moving around. Probably transportation is late. They don't have one set person who is responsible for that, for transporting the girls. That is something where officer out. They need a manager who can solve that problem, solve that issue. You take it by the scruff of the neck. Accommodation, it look like when them come, people have forgot them people yard or them things there, because if accommodation a problem, that simply means no hotel is provided. You understand? The training conditions, them probably not have no equipment, no kit and them thing there for train. What go on? Compensation, them not get enough money. What go on? The girls, them not get enough money. They are not being paid. Communication, they are not being communicated with. Nutrition, what kind of crackers and beans they give girls them? In Cataract? What kind of crackers and beans are going?
Good evening, Coach Minzy. Good evening to the coach's desk and the man them in the comment section, woman them in the comment section. Big up the supporters club who have joined. I gave a commitment to this, but I'm multitasking as I'm here with I'm doing football work and politics work one time. So, Coach, I would like to hear more before
Yeah, man, I can't.
But I wanted to pause you in your rant to understand the following. There is a camp currently. Is that camp at the Horace Burrell Center? And if so, is it the complaint that they're attempting to house the girls at the Horace Burrell Center, because we were told that was developed to the level of a 3-star hotel? So that's what Mr. Speed said. So I think am I improper by suggesting that maybe the members of the media could be given a tour of this 3-star hotel facility to verify for ourselves. But in addition to that, I would want to say we were told that, and correct me if I'm wrong, good evening, Rich Pooh Sports over there in London.
Can you hear me? Testing. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yes, we can hear you. But
Big up Ranger on the super chat.
We can hear you, but don't need to hear you at this point.
Well, I just need to have a point of. I need to have a point of order. Brief point of order. Good evening. Is it Kyle from the Supporters Club?
Yes, sir.
Good evening, Kyle. God bless you. So good to see you. Coach Minzy, good evening to you. If you're going to be the host of this show tonight, I implore you, if I may, please, when the likes of the oligarch, aka Cataract, or Healy Blake,
what is your point of order? What is your point of order?
My point of order is, could you please? No, you need to rescind that, Coach Minzy, and maybe you need to issue it. Oligarch. Respect. Yeah, Cataract. The name of my sports channel, which is most therapeutic, is Rich Poe Sports. Let me reiterate it again. Rich Poe Sports. I know, or I believe you to be capable of repeating the name of the show accurately, as opposed to potentially being derogatory. Please, we need to tonight be on point, because the JFF and Jamaican football is in dire straits. 2 years on from jumping on this Jutta bus wagon, aka the Reggae Boyz journey, has been quite a journey. And I don't want you at this juncture to feel that you are totally separate from trying to make things a little better. I implore you, please have a little respect. Rich Poe Sports, aka the Reason Boss, aka Tiddlywinks, in the building from London, England, at the early hours of Saturday morning. Please have a little respect. Reintroduce yourself, if you may, regarding Rich Poe Sports. Thank you.
Rich Pooh.
All right, let me continue.
Coach, I was asking, but my question before I was not rudely, but correctly, the man said a point of order. I don't know what the point of order is, because PO is also poo, and I don't want to poo on his parade. So let me say this, Coach. Were we told? And you can hear the ladies around me laughing at you, Rich Pooh. They're laughing.
Well, that speaks volumes for maybe the level of intellect that is to your left and right. But you are facing the Reason Boss tonight. So please be aware that no matter how many people are laughing and kinning their teeth, as far as the Reason Boss is concerned, this is a serious matter, and I am all ears, listening attentively to what I want.
Reason Boss, to both my left and right, is brains and beauty, and they're laughing at you. Now, let me go again, Coach. Were we told,
speaks volumes. Continue.
Were we told that, and I can tell you that actually to my left is a dentist, so she can kin her teeth. Now, let me take you on over there in England. You forgot the AKA David Radigan, who cataracted string up and whap and zap in Boston back in the early 2000s. But Coach, were we told that when senior national teams were brought together, they would be provided hotel accommodation and would not stay at the Horace Burrell Center? I'll ask you to confirm that.
If what?
That when senior teams were called up, they would not be housed at the Captain Horace Burrell Center, and that the accommodations for the senior team would be at the level of the AC Marriott or the Courtyard Marriott.
I'm not sure I'm recalling correctly, but I think it was something of the sort.
Them say them not quit the man them. the senior people them in Horace Burrell Center. I want you to just make note of that question to get the response from the GenSec. And all right, hold on. You see, man say a Coach Grim may have side of me.
Cataract, you soliloquy too long, brethren.
I don't have no soliloquy.
But look at that, you go on now.
But there's a turn my angle so a man understands. So
no, man, but every comment you see,
you see?
Every comment you see, you have to talk about, brother.
That are the dentist. Wait for them. Good. I want a man try me thing, and I pause. And I say good evening to Neo Sovereign, the legal luminary, and Stan Kroenke, my nemesis, who failed to defeat me in the great debate.
Kyle, big up yourself. Rich Poor, big up yourself. Cranky, big up yourself. Neo Sovereign, big up yourself. So we have managed to bring back the whole crew together again. Kyle.
Yeah, Coach, I was just making a suggestion. That seeing that you have a full panel, that you give everybody the minimum 3-4 minutes and then them have cut.
No,
so
man, that's so long
still. Around, you know what I mean?
That kind of so long still look out. It's when you talk about 3-4 minutes, you say like cataract, you have to go multiply that by 3 for you know.
No, that's the first yellow card, Coach. We don't pass mic around. Coach, yellow card. We don't pass mic around, brother. We have a talker phone.
Anyway,
Coach,
listen.
I'm appealing. Yellow card, Coach. Yellow card, Coach.
We gotta check, VAR.
All right, Coach. You know, my whole issue with this girls thing. It's simple.
Well, we can just finish the comment,
of course.
and then we can give our feedback on it. So Khadija spoke about the accommodation, transportation, training conditions, compensation, communication, nutrition. So I am assuming the food that them are get it not so wonderful. And accessibility to what she considered proper resources. The JFF president was previously asked about meetings and was told that the meetings did take place and went amicably. We had a very, very good meeting with them. Ricketts said that's in April. Of course, they expressed some concerns. So this has been happening before now. But the GenSec, Dennis Chung, and I were able to meet, and we committed ourselves to ensuring the basic things were sorted out. And for this to happen again, that means nothing was done. That was probably a meeting going. You understand? They wanted an assurance in relation to their payments. And of course, they understood when they tried to explain to them that we sometimes are not in a position to make payments when we promise to. Sometimes a sponsor and even FIFA may say, we make funds available and we'll disburse them. And for whatever reason, the disbursement may get to you late. We explain all of that. That said, the meeting ended very well. So as it is now, I think we have a very decent relationship. But it no look so, because Khadija Shah described the team's camp logistics as extremely disorganized and says it has caused them to miss several FIFA international friendly matches. She says this will impact their preparation for the World Cup. To be left questioning whether a camp will even take place 2 or 3 days before the expected start is unprofessional and often unfairly prohibited for some of our players. Ricketts did, however, indicated that earlier this month there was uncertainty regarding practice games for the team. He initially said that he wanted the team to take part in international friendly matches locally and overseas before the tournament and a training camp in Amsterdam. And you look at that go on again. But he said such plans were dependent on funding, which at the moment is limited, and also on how head coach London also want to prepare. It is not 100% confirmed, but we had an extensive meeting recently with Sports Minister Babsy Green and her team, the Marley Foundation, Sidela Marley and her team, and of course the JFF. That is what Ricketts is saying. We're looking to have the girls here. The coach is absolutely sure whether or not he would want to play a game or just to have a camp. but we will make a determination, of course, by having discussions with the coach and his team as to exactly what he wants. And we'll certainly try as best as possible to give the coach what he wants. The girls will definitely be here before they go to Amsterdam. Oh, so they might go off to Amsterdam. But it sounds like the coach no want no game, or he's indecisive. So we don't know. Look like some back and forth that might not. Anyways, let's start off with Neo Sovereign. What go on, Neo? What do you think about this whole debacle with the girls?
Hey, coach, you know what? I am, be honest with you, I'm just tired of it all, honestly. I mean, you know, every day you carry the bucket go well, one day the bottom I go drop out.
Yeah.
Right? And now the girls have carried us to the World Cup 2 times, right? And now, you know, on both occasions, they're being let down. So the reward for good behavior is, you know, is poor treatment. You know, what message does that send to the other girls who are in Jamaica hoping one day to play for the Jamaican women's team in the World Cup? What message does that send to the Jamaicans who live in the diaspora, who are, you know, young ladies now, but who may one day consider playing for Jamaica? What message are we sending them? You know, I mean, frankly, it is embarrassing. And, you know, I listen, I don't want to say that it's inexcusable, but I am hard pressed to understand how it is that with the JFF, lightning always seems to strike the same place over and over again. It means that something is wrong, the system wrong, something is not right.
Systematically.
And I know that, you know, somebody from the JFF might come on and tell us what happened, but a description of the crash, of the car crash, is still a car crash. You know, so I mean, you know, we need solutions, and frankly, you know, what I will say is, we have a you know, a fellow YouTuber who went off to become a part of the team management for the men's team for the Gold Cup, at least as far as I understand. Yeah. We also had a fellow person from YouTube who, you know, went on to help out with the press and all of that stuff. And I gotta say, looking on without trying to be impartial, right? I think those two guys so far seem to be doing a great job. And what I do know is when Sidella and our group are in charge of the girls and are doing their thing, I don't see these complaints. The complaints and the car crashes and the bucket dropping out starts when the JFF gets involved. The JFF need to look into themselves, you know, and I mean, whatever assessment Mr. Chung has done, right? You know, he needs to ask himself, you know, I mean, he says he will not talk about his staff in public, and I guess I understand that. But frankly, we don't see any changes. So I guess we can expect lightning to strike, you know, in the same place again. And that's just what I will say for now. So, you know, so you can give other people a chance to speak.
Yeah, man, cranky. You're muted. You're muted, cranky.
I don't know what this is.
Yeah. We're here now.
So I normally put my foot in my mouth. I'm going to do so again. So I'm a little bit surprised at Neo. I'm going to call Neo out. As an attorney, he knows there's 3 sides to every story. And I know that the general view is about the JFF incompetence, and we know that they're not what we want them to be. But these are the same girls who fired their coach and create mutiny. And this is not unique to Jamaica, by the way. Now, when we have footballing issues, it's mainly with the more financially challenged countries. But you've got the Spain team. If you look at the France team, they've also had mutiny in the women's camp. And Spain is probably one of the best teams in the world. Probably didn't win the Euro because most of their players decided not to play, and they want they have problem with the administration. So it's not unique to Jamaica about women and their administration. I would love to hear all three sides first before I make an informed view about what position I take on this. So I'm not going to take a position except to say I want to hear at least two sides to the story, not one side to the story, even though there's some history there, which doesn't favor the JFF. But the women's football thing is a big issue globally. So we can't just point out Jamaica about women's football, because even the countries that are doing really well, some of the best Spain players are not going. One of the Ballon d'Or person who's up for the Ballon d'Or not going to the World Cup because they're not playing. They can't deal with the administration, right? So you can call this out for us, but it's a global thing. And I would love to get more intelligence first before I comment on this.
Coach, you have to make me respond to that, because the man said I'm unintelligent.
Go ahead.
I said I'm surprised at Neil as an attorney who always can argue both sides of an argument. But before we finish, who argues both sides of an argument, instead of which side he's on. Floor is yours, Neil.
All right, but let me respond by saying, right? You know, I appreciate Cranky's position. All I will say is that, you know, it will take the patience of Job, right, to keep on giving the benefit of the doubt and waiting for the same old story to reappear. You know, but if you want to do that, then that is on you. And then let me correct the record by saying, you know, usually attorneys are advocates and they advocate a particular position, and they're really and truly, even if there are three sides of the story, them choose one and run with it. Your position, sir, is a position of the judge. For me, I take it personally because I know that the girls are weeks away from the World Cup. And so I am mad, and I believe rightly so, because I have no time to wait for the three sides of the story when the competition and the girls' performance in the World Cup is on the line. So I appreciate what you're saying, Cranky, but you know, I'm explaining my position, you know, for your benefit.
So before you go, Coach, to say, I have another question for you, Neil. How do you explain the other countries who have done well in football, who are doing well in football, some of the best players, having some of the same challenges that we're having? Well,
I mean, look here. So there is no doubt that every country has their own challenges. You know, that is not that debate. To me, that's a whole separate issue. I think the issue we face in Jamaica that is unique is that it happens almost every time. You know, so yes, I guess the countries that have more money and the most experience may avoid some of these problems. But I think that we, you know, especially in this space, have pointed out the problems, have explored the problems. The JFF has admitted the problems. They have promised to fix the problems. And so while I can say other countries have problems too, my focus is on Jamaica and the Jamaican situation, and giving the circumstances where they have promised to fix it, where we have spoken about it over again, you know, where they're here home in Jamaica. It's not like they're overseas and having these problems. They are here in Jamaica where we should be pulling out all of the stops for them. And this is a place where they're having problems. So, you know, I hear you, but I'm not sure how much you know, weight I give that sort of reasoning, given the fact, as I explained, the circumstances that we now face.
I would say in final comment on this, because now we're going to go to other panelists, is the issues about women football is larger than Jamaica. It's about focus. It's about how they're given visibility. It's about how they're given support, financial and otherwise. It's about where the sport is, and how women view their role and the support they're receiving, which is not what they think it should be. And I think in some instances, they act a little bit different from the men normally do. I don't see a lot of national team players firing their coaches, but in Spain, in France, and in Jamaica, that's happening. It's really interesting to see how those things are working out. So even though we know what the JFF history is, I think there's more than meet the eye in this situation. But I'd like to hear both sides first before I align with a given side.
Okay.
All right. So Cranky represents the judge, and that's why I knew he's the counsel. Kyle.
Yeah. Good night to all the panelists, all the fans, vloggers, everybody. Yeah, I mean, I'm more aligned with Neo's position because this thing has been happening repetitively. You know, every time we have a major tournament, this issue comes up. And the thing that's bothersome, you know, is not just money, but there is no practice matches. You know, and that's what separates us.
And the FIFA window has passed.
Right, and that's what Cranky like to say that every major country has that problem. That's not true. Every major company that's a football powerhouse have their practice matches. They have completed them. We don't have none. That's a problem. And my issue is these ladies have earned every right to have the JFF do right by them. They have brought money into the coffers, not just once, but you have done it before previously. You know, and people like to say, oh, you know what, $1.5 million, $2 million isn't any money. It can't do anything. Listen, those ladies deserve at least 1 or 2 practice matches. Okay, that goes beyond doubt. And as for money, it's the same JFF that has an Adidas contract. Money is coming in. It's the same JFF that all of a sudden have these sponsors jumping on board. Money is coming in. You know, I mean, they have money coming in, and it's all because of those ladies. Don't forget, you know, when that Adidas contract was signed, it was signed around the same time when the girls qualified for the World Cup. All right? So, come on. I mean, the GFF is letting them know. And Mr. Chong, I mean, you know, me personally, I would like to give him the benefit of the doubt. But, you know, lightning is striking twice too many times. And this notion of, oh, he's not going to throw anybody under the bus and he's going to take all of the blame. I mean, that can't cut it. That can't cut it. Because when these girls go there now and they do poorly, what are we going to do? If anybody...
Fire the coach.
Oh, yeah, well, hold on about. If anybody pick up a stone and throw at them, throw it at yourself first. Because if you didn't speak out, you know, then you are part of the problem. And that's all I have to say.
All right, man from afar.
Richie Poole.
Afar?
You know, Richie Poole.
Well, a preference to the man in the afar. Was the local panelist.
You know, Cataract, I first man forward on the show and I'm my first man talk.
Exactly.
I know him, I met nice. Mind the card, brother. Cranky, we not hear you.
I fight against the local base, but it's all right. We got through Rich Post.
No, Coach, I want to say, Richie, before you go, we have to go to all the panelists first before we go to Cataract.
Yeah.
We won't get a word in afterwards. So everyone needs to speak first and get it out because you won't get much word in afterwards. Richie, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Stan. Thank you, panelists. Good night, viewers and subscribers. This evening from London, England, it's a pleasure to be here. But I say a pleasure. It's bittersweet. At the heart of much of this, upon reflection, I've got copious notes, but the long and short of it, as far as the reason boss is concerned, is that this state of tiddlywinks comes down to relationships and respect. relationships and respect. During one of the recent press conferences, I believe it was a member from This or That Sports asked a question to Coach Jaime Hallgrimsson, who I will come to shortly. He was asked, what does he feel that the new coaching regime will bring to the table, and what's the coach's thoughts on the matter? He said he hopes that the people around him, the staff around him, bring the ability to recognize and solve issues. I'll add challenges and opportunities, how to tackle them, embrace them, overcome them. He mentioned pointedly that stability is needed, also professionalism, and notably a cultural change. That was a red flag that he'd recognized, and I thought it was a very, very important point. He recognized and acknowledged a need for a cultural change. What that cultural change or changes could be, we can leave to speculation, but informed speculation from my esteemed panelists. Relationships and respect. I remember 2 years ago, it's 2 years I celebrate coming onto the Jutta bus of the Reggae Boyz bandwagon and the men's senior team. And I did ask the question. The first question I asked
Richard,
is, what a one?
You know, the wagon and wagon, you know, so you have to decide. You can't say bus and
Well,
wagon same time. So yeah, the
all right, thank you.
and wagon. I don't know if them the vehicle are England still, but we're not used to them one day.
All right, well, I'm going to use the Jutta bus then. I'll use the Jutta bus something there, because the wagon is something that it can lead to a lot of, well, I've seen what it leads to, and that leads, I think, to a lot of instability and a lack of informed reasoning going forward. But when I asked what a guan, I joined and listened to find out what a guan. I've learned much about Jamaican football over the past couple of years, from the last Gold Cup in 2021, when the Reggae Boyz were defeated 1-0 by a C- team, allegedly, from America. But fast forward to today, one of the best things that happened was the appointment of a new overseas coach. You could call it an attempt by the JFF, the Jamaican Football Federation, to bring in a form of mediation into the relationship that they had towards the men's and women's game. And that brought a hearty response from the Jamaican footballing base on social media and amongst the fans who we converse with regularly. Respect to Osmo, Rob Smith, Len, and such man. All a warm welcome tonight. But that mediation.
Point of order, coach.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Point of order. That must be a yellow card. Man is welcoming such man. Such mans don't get welcome, brother. Such man is not a good thing.
Well, it look like you might call such man still enough.
Okay, I'll await my turn then.
Oh, okay. I wasn't pointing anything at anyone at all in this panel studio. What I'm referring to is the fact that it's just ironic that the JFF brought in Coach Jaime, overseas coach, to bring objectivity, professionalism, a new broom. But the overriding question, I heard Formula Sports earlier this evening lamenting the state of the Jamaican Football Federation. And I remember the West Indies team of the 1970s, late 70s into the 80s and 90s. Outstanding teams, players who shone and stood on the world stage, despite a far from efficient governing board. But they shone despite, not because of, in addition to having the support of a quality professional governing body. Football in Jamaica, unfortunately, finds itself in the position where it has, as the Reggae Girls have sadly found out back-to-back finalists, 2019, 2023, and yet they find themselves having to write an open letter, and much of it holds water. Of course, there's more than one side to an argument. The JFF are due to respond. I saw the article in The Guardian. It made me a little, more than a little, ashamed, embarrassed, saddened. I hope resolutions are found, because the JFF, I don't believe, are necessarily flushed with money. Jamaica has to deal with the resources they have and deal with it according to what they have at hand. But the lack of professionalism, the lack of acknowledging how to form relationships, how to give due respect. And we asked the question, CD, I remember I asked you, do the JFF love the game of football? I asked Ryan LFC, I asked JD of We Max It and I Max It Sport, does the JFF love football? Do they have a heart and a passion for football? The resounding answer was no. The jersey I'm wearing here is a yellow jersey, a canary jersey, the colors of Jamaica and also the colors of the Seleção, the Brazilian team. The Brazilian team do not have a manager since Chiche left in 2022. They have yet to appoint a manager. Why? Because the need to get it right on the pitch, in the back room, is absolutely critical. They are waiting for the likes of a Carlo Ancelotti. We took the decision, I say we, the JFF, took the decision to appoint Coach Heimar, and he has found, let me again, in finally concluding, he has said, and I hope he stays before he's dragooned out of the job, there is a need for a cultural change. We need to have more professionalism. We need stability on and off the pitch. And at the moment, we are far from that. We need people to find solutions. I hope we, amongst the panel, are part of the solution. We've got the likes of Manning's Man and Simon Preston of Reggae Boyz commentary in the JFF. That's a sea change from 2 years ago. So that's a movement, hopefully in the right direction. I hope relationships and respect are at the heart of everything we do. The floor is yours, whoever is next up. Thank you for your patience.
Cataract.
Coach, help. Minute officer.
Word salad. According to AM Henry.
No, sir. Rich poor argument is like a transatlantic slave journey. It's like when the man them take the Africans them from Africa and bring them come by West Indies. Brother, the man reach at the Canary Island. He reach at Brazil.
By the way, rich poor, that's not a jersey.
That's a shirt. No, sir, that's like a budget presentation.
My apology. I would call it a t-shirt. If you ask me, it's a t-shirt. My apologies. A jersey, I acknowledge that technicality. I call this a t-shirt. You're quite right, CD.
Okay.
Yo, I'm black. I never tell nobody say I'm not black. I'm not bleach. So, coach, that's a hard one to come after, coach. I don't know.
It's not the first time, Cataract. I know it's a hard act to follow. There was some reasoning and some straight from the heart talk. I hope you have the ability to follow suit. I know you have the ability. You've got a love for the game. You love the game. I remember when you said when you were on your bed in the hospital, the one thing you were hoping for is to see the Reggae Boyz not only at a World Cup, but lift a World Cup. But just to get to a World Cup would have done for you. It was heartfelt and very emotional. And I hope that we can get there one day. You have that dream. I hope we'll be part of that dream and making it happen.
So, coach,
I love you, Cataract. I love you, man. I love the game of football. I love you, Cataract.
Whoa.
Yo, listen. Let's have a conversation, please, gentlemen.
Yes, sir. One love. Bob Marley style. One love, one heart. Let's get together and feel all right. I saw me I come. Yeah, man.
Coach.
Cataract.
Ref.
The comment section are crazy. I go crazy already. I mean, I didn't laugh, Bridget. Just talk what you're talking, man. Don't bother with it. Don't bother with this. It's cross talking,
Coach,
man.
where's the red card, coach? Where is the red card, coach?
You see, thing we talked about last night.
Coach, I am being like my man there, Vinicius Jr. from Real Madrid.
So you forget red card now?
No, I'm gonna walk off the pitch, coach. The coach, no card. Mother love, mother no card.
Cataract, you have 4 minutes in a bar. Use your time wisely.
No, everybody's been using my time. Coach, I'm waiting for VAR to look back at what just happened, coach. I am pausing and allowing VAR to look back at last statement from Rich Pooh, which seems to be a tackle from behind, two-footed, sliding in. The ladies are just, my ladies are
Go ahead, man. Go ahead.
Watch it in the window, you know.
So coach, the VAR, is the VAR check over?
Would it help to say that I love the dentist to your left? I love the dentist to your left. I love whoever to your right. I love them as well. Does that help? One love, one Jamaica.
So is the VAR check over, coach?
Yeah, man.
Coach, our fans are going to appeal to FIFA.
Yeah, man. I appeal to FIFA because you don't get a red card, too, you know.
No, me not get no red card.
Yeah, man.
I am telling you what just occurred. And
I'm here where you said too. Me here where you said.
Yes.
I'm in again a red card.
But it is what.
So
what
continue.
So let me start, coach. And I see Cronky has disappeared as usual when it comes to the debate. So firstly, coach, there is no side to a story. In the international window, for the last two international windows, the girls have not played a friendly match against a national team. That's a fact. So I don't know which other side to the story there is, right? Which other side of the story there is. That cannot be questioned or debated. I do not like that the ladies have aired their grosses in public, but I don't know if they have tried to settle it behind closed doors and not gotten a resolution.
That's what they said, Cataract. It sounds as if that's where it was leading because the president was pointing to some stuff. And based off what it pointed to, it seems as if they did not do what they need to do based on the previous wranglings with them and the girls.
Right. And that famous business class flight for the two head honchos from Kingston to London to get to Leicester to have a meeting with the girls. And we were told on a number of channels, Manning's Man and some other channels that Mr. Chung frequents, that action would be taken. So my intervention here today is to say to the General Secretary, Mr. Chung, the time for pretty talking and beautiful speaking is over. We need to see a difference in the trajectory as it comes to the management, the logistics arrangements, the contractual arrangements between the JFF and the players. Now, maybe I read it differently, and coach, you can correct me. The young lady said they have not received monies that are contractually due to them. And I saw the response from the JFF that said, well, sometime we don't get the money from FIFA and we don't get the money from the sponsor. That's not an answer, brother, because persons have other contractual arrangements like their mortgage to pay or their rent to pay or their car note to pay.
Hold on, Qatar. Well, is it that these are the things that pay these ladies? Remember, they come play for the national team. It's just a stipend, you know, so it could not be dependent on coming to play for the national team to pay your mortgage and your rent and them things. Remember, so they are professional footballers, you know, so you can't bring that in it.
What do you mean?
Not all of them have the same social standing, though, coach.
I agree.
And there are some.
Agree.
There are some young. Hold on, sir, coach. I am sure that in that squad was a young lady from the under-20s who is based here in Jamaica. So tell me what large salary she is getting. Because when you speak for a group, you have to speak about the least among the men.
Agree.
You can't look at Bunny Shaw and her salary. I think that's out of order.
No, but I'm not looking at Bunny Shaw.
No, I'm saying to you, it's the least amongst the apostles that you have to be concerned about. So I'm saying to you, coach, that if you have a contractual arrangement like a government worker to be paid on the 25th of the month, right, your pay must hit your account on the 25th of the month.
But Qatar, do they get pay while not on international duty or in camp?
No, they get paid. They get paid for well, I don't understand it. I don't know the contract. Let us just say. But I know that what was said that when they appear for the national team, there is a stipend under the contractual arrangement and a match fee, an appearance fee, right? I would ask deeper, what are these payments that are not made? But the JFF has acknowledged in its response that the payment is not being made.
Right.
Even if it's not your primary source of income.
Yeah, but let me clear up this, Qatar. I don't want people to believe that I am saying that the ladies should not get their pay. I totally agree. Once a man working for getting pay, you understand? But it should not. It's just based on what you said. Mortgage to pay, this to pay. Because when they are out of football or they are not with the national team, they probably could be doing something else. What else could they be doing? Are they not professional players, especially the locally based one that you made mention of? So, I just have a problem with that statement. I am not saying that the girls should not be compensated, and I'm not saying that they don't have things to do with the money and they work for them money because you call them up to the team. But I don't want it to be a situation where it is the primary thing that, I have to pay my mortgage, I have to pay. No, I'm not look on it, so. I don't look at it that way.
Okay, so coach,
I'll have
to disagree with you because I'm going to go further. As someone pointed out, at least more than one of the young ladies are full-time students in college. So they're not professional footballers. So
which college?
In the United States.
Okay.
Right? I'm just saying, coach.
Let me withdraw. Are you saying that they are depending on the money to pay their tuition and all of these things?
I don't know what they need the money for.
And that's why Cataract, and that's why I don't want you to miss the point, because you don't know what they want the money for, so you should not be coming out and talk about mortgage and all of them. That's not the point that I'm making.
But I was giving examples, coach. It's not an exhaustive list. They need to buy Bridget sandals. They need to pay granny prescription. They need to buy a birthday present for their child. Whatever it is that they wish to spend that money on, the money should be paid to them.
And I agree, because it's theirs.
At the contract, at the time stipulated in the contract. One party cannot seek to breach a contract and we act as if, yeah, it's all right because I make a heap of money. You know, coach, and I'm going to call you out. It was this, your reasoning is the same kind of reasoning that I heard from the JFF when it is it was recounted that Michael Antonio used his credit card and paid for the tickets for 4 of himself and 4 other players on the agreement to be reimbursed. And when he came to Jamaica and asked for the reimbursement, man, I say him rich. So I don't want us to go down that road or have that thinking.
No, but I never insinuated. Sorry, you can't call me out because I never insinuated that the rich should the rich people can't say nothing or whatever because them have them money. I said I don't like the example that you use about them to pay a mortgage. And I did say after them money then work for it. And me now say they not forget them money. So you can't call me out for a statement where me clarify, Bridget.
Okay, so just to end, and we don't go back.
I just say example.
A big man reason. I'm saying to you,
like.
So are you saying, and I want to pose a question to Neo. I'm saying to you, are you saying with certain knowledge that you know that there is
big up yourself,
no,
Neo.
and I'm going to pose a question to you, that there is no reggae girl who uses her match appearance for international duty to pay her mortgage? And if we don't know
you
that,
are asking me that, Keter?
Yes, I'm saying. I'm asking
you gonna ask me? I'm not their accountant. I'm not their manager.
So
I'm
Neo,
not their agent.
So Neo,
you can't. Don't ask me that.
May I ask you?
No, don't ask me that. May I give you a My Cricket's answer? Don't ask me that.
Okay, Mikey. All right. but Mikey, I look like him going to face a challenge. So Neo, what I was asking is it okay and just blasé for one party in a contract to continually breach contractual arrangements? And
well,
I want to part B is if a player were to sue the JFF, would they be successful in saying my payment reached me late and it had a deleterious effect on something, like I was charged interest on my credit card, or you know what I'm saying? I pose that to you.
I mean, look, the truth is, I don't know the details of the contract, so I would have to say that first before giving any answer. But generally, when you're dealing with breach of contract, there are several theories that would allow a party, who have an expectation of receiving something by way of a contract, to say that the failure to get it, right, cause them damages in some other area. Sure, that is a theory of law that recognize common law all over the world with respect to claims of breach of contract. I mean, I think though, what I would say is that when it comes to contracts with players who are playing for their federation on an international game, something like that, I don't know. I would think that the contracts are probably a little bit different. But I mean, I take your point. Generally speaking, that what the JFF is doing, right? The mere idea that they let the girls down, and it's sad, that's one level to look at it. But you're right. I mean, the failure to get something that was promised. When when a man promises something, you may turn around and promise another man something else based on the promise you receive from somebody, right? So I mean, yeah, your point.
But Neil, let me ask you this, Neil. If something was promised and it is late, can the receiver who's supposed to get the promised thing to them, like file some lawsuit or something like that?
Yeah.
I mean, it depends on what the contract says, and it depends on how late it is. Right. Okay. So I mean, you can't answer that question. That's not it depends, right? Anybody, an attorney will tell you that it depends on the circumstances. Right. But generally speaking, though, if you're supposed to perform a contract, sometimes a contract will say time is of the essence. Sometimes a contract says 30 days. Sometimes a contract is vague on when performance is due. Right. And because there are so many variations, it would be hard to answer that question. But I think the main point though is, Coach, where I think you and Cataract I probably identifying the same thing is that, listen, we have to treat the ladies with respect. Now, I don't want to go back to call Cranky name. He's not here to defend himself, but it's not just the young ladies, of course, who went on strike. The men's team have done it twice, right? And I think we can recall Damian Lowe on that famous conversation with the JFF and the whole party shop affair and all of that stuff. And we can also talk about the situation that happened with Suriname, right? So that's definitely something that it's again it's lightning striking in the same place. It's the cultural deficit that Richie referred to. No, I believe that the JFF has taken some steps in the right direction, right? But sometimes you take one step forward and two steps backwards. I think it feels like two steps backwards because we are in the crunch time. This is the time before the girls are supposed to go and play. This is the time, when the guys are going to play the Gold Cup. So if you want to fail, let it be any other time but this.
But this time, yeah.
And
they just always seem to have these issues and debacles coming up at critical point in tournaments or some sort of a situation.
Coach, I mentioned, I'm not going to take much longer, but I mentioned in the comment, Coach, there are times when I am, in my own professional career, and I'm sure a lot of people can identify with this, where it's the end of month, right? It could be a Friday. I'm on a work in a restaurant, and that's when everybody buying food. You go work round the clock Thursday night to prepare because say Friday the big day. And even if you don't sleep, I'm working on a case and I don't get no sleep. You understand? I work till 3:00 in the morning and wake up at 5. And I'm at it again. And that's the passion and the energy. And you probably see the bugs on my eye right now. I'm in that crunch time right now too. Right? But the point is, this is the sort of level of commitment that that's and the sort of passion that we are hoping they're going to bring to this situation. And unfortunately, from the outside, it doesn't appear that is what it is. And it's another reason why you need young men in the organization. Frankly, I mean, I'm not that young myself, right, anymore. But you need people who are going to have that energy, and stuff like Manningsman and Simon. I mean, I'm just saying. I mean, it's not, again, I'm not trying to just toot the horn because I know these two fellows. I'm saying this is the reason why you need that infusion of new blood into the organization
because
bring
even the press conference was a breath of fresh air.
Of course.
It was different. It was not like before. Same thing has been different. You understand? So you want to inject people that really care about the thing, passionate about the thing. And me, Rich Poe, make mention of the question that was asked. Me not think so. I don't think everybody in the federation is really up in arms about football. Me not think so. On these forums and platforms, we have given them a plethora of ideas, several ideas. And where is it now? Some have been used, some probably are gathered dust. And if they would have been if they would have used them, it would have been at this situation.
Coach Minzy.
Yeah, man.
Kyle, I want to make a coaching point, and then I'll yield to Kyle. I promise you it's not a lot. Coach, every time there's a major tournament in the last year, 2 years, there has been a cascas. Whether people left stranded, man, I buy flat screen TV and make them miss their flight. Whether it be players from the under 20 left stranded in Central America, whether it was a player, was it Tyreek McGee from Belgium who was just left walking around in an airport for 2-3 days. Every single time we go to a mini tournament, a senior tournament, or as with the under 15s, nobody goes. Every time there is a tournament, how hard is it to ensure that the players selected or put on a roster have the requisite visas? Every single time there is smaddy when none of visa. And it's just trotted out as, like, I don't know, you guys remember living in Jamaica. 2 gunmen fired on the police and they escaped into nearby bushes, even though they're in the middle of half a tree. It just comes like one of the trotted out excuses. Neo, Kyle.
I wanted to make this comment, for Neo specifically. The U.S. Women's National Soccer Team sued the USSF, U.S. Soccer Federation, for basically equal pay, right? I'm wondering if these girls have a lawsuit, gender discrimination, based on the fact that they qualified for a World Cup. And here you have these boys in Europe having practice matches, and these girls can't even get a practice match, which is basically a part of their contract. They're supposed to be prepared by the federation to compete in a FIFA tournament. You know what I mean? Compounding all of that is the salary issue and whatever other, discrepancies that they want to bring forth. But I believe that they have a good case, to present against the JFF.
I could just answer that quickly, Coach. I mean, in the United States, there are federal laws, and statutes that govern, that particular lawsuit. There are also constitutional, cases that interpret the Constitution, the 14th Amendment, and there's just a lot of law that is different than in Jamaica. The truth is, I practice here in the States, so I'm not as adept at Jamaican law, but certainly, if they were in the United States, they could definitely make that argument. Although what I would say though is, it's not just a matter of being treated badly or something like that, but as you say, in terms of demonstrating how much they bring to the federation and just how little they get in return, that's definitely something that is deplorable and maybe actionable, although in Jamaican law I am not quite sure.
Thank you.
I from my point of view, I don't think we should necessarily get bogged down in the legalities of, as Cataract said, we don't know the ins and outs of the particular contract. But just looking at the wording of the open letter, it said the actions by the JFF are unfairly prohibitive for some players, professional and collegiate, but the physical and mental obstacles are impacting undoubtedly the physical and mental obstacles. Thinking that you're going to have a game, a friendly, and it doesn't come to pass. Waiting for confirmation up to the last minute of training camps. The mental and physical impact it has. Back to that word again, respect. Back to that word again, professionalism. Back to that word again, love. Back to that word again, passion. It's ironic also that, Jamaica is a fairly patriarchal I mean, we're talking about specifically America, Canada, Spain. They've got their own particular issues and curiosities. Jamaica's a quite patriarchal, male-dominated society for the most part. And it's ironic, is it not, that the Reggae Girls, back-to-back finalists, 2019, 2023, are being shown a lack of love, empathy at this juncture. So the legalities is one thing, but systemic, it's a systemic, there's the word. Just like in this country, in England, they talk about, is the police force institutionally racist? Many people say, of course it is. We've learnt with time, but some people take umbrage at that. You can't call a organization institutionally off kilter. You can't say that because it hits home. It hits home to the heart of the matter, uncomfortable truths. But this is what we face with the Jamaican Football Federation and the landscape. It's systemic. How do we overcome it? Who knows? Go ahead, sir.
Yeah, Richie, I was just saying, not only is it systemic, but like you said, it's repetitive. And not only that, it comes at a point where the JFF has money coming in. The last time when the girls qualified, the JFF did not have this income stream coming in. There was no Adidas contract. They didn't have all these contracts signing up with Courts and Grace Kennedy and all these people jumping on board. They have money coming in. So even though there's a terrible disparity when it comes to the women at an opportune time, that basically embarrasses the JFF. The question is, how could you, given what you have coming in, you can't use the excuse, quote unquote, that you are broke. It is just not there. You have money coming in. So why is it that the men have practice matches and the women who are going to a World Cup, the biggest tournament in the world, and you treat them like this? No, man. I'm sorry, but them deserve a lawsuit.
And as Lulu said, is it the case that they're understaffed and the senior men's team gets prioritized? But that should not be the case.
Coach,
that should not be the case.
I'm going to swing out 6 for you. I like how they staff the men's with their media team. They have a Manning's Man. They have a Simon Preston, 2 of the best, 2 of our best. Where is the women, Simon Preston and Manning's Man? The women deserve a media personality also. You have Crystal there in England. Give her the work. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's little things like that go a far way. Because Crystal champions the women's cause.
Mm-hmm.
Who more wouldn't you want to get involved?
And she built a bridge.
You know what I'm saying? But these people not thinking, man.
And
insult after insult after insult.
It just come back down to the women versus the men, and
God, I mean, it's terrible, man.
It just put a wedge in the whole thing, because it can't be a case where the men game is being prioritized over a team.
That is the question
going to the World
that Mr. Chong needs to answer. He needs to answer that question.
But they probably say they're not prioritized. I don't know.
Well, them can say XYZ. So then the second question is
whatever is happening is showcasing that.
Okay, exactly.
But sorry for Mr. Chong. Welcome, Sir Porto.
Sir D, big up.
Thank you, gentlemen. I'm sorry to be late, but circumstances. I'm just listening to what you guys are saying. I really wanna get involved in the team that's preparing for the Gold Cup. The behind the scenes thing with the JFF, we all know, what to expect there. And it's like we're beating a dead horse. So I would say let's deviate and look at the team that's preparing going into a tournament on the 23rd. The personnel who are there, who are missing, Did they announce the 23 or 26 that's going? Today is the 16th. I think they fly over to Chicago on the 20th. So we should hear something. Something should be out there already.
You know, so the same thing with people I'm talk about, Sir D. We are segue over into the men's football, which we know we're gonna touch, and the ladies have a tournament which is greater than the Gold Cup. You understand? The World Cup for them, which is going to be happening next month as well. It is greater than the Gold Cup, and that is one of the things possible that is hitting the federation too, because what do you prioritize? Is it that the men are bringing in? I don't know. Is it that the females aren't bringing in? I don't know. But I mean, they said that justice must not only be served, it should also appear to be done. So even if the girls are placed on the back burner, it should not be evident. It ought not to be, because a World Cup versus Gold Cup, World Cup bigger.
Exactly.
You understand? So that is just my point. We take another 5 minutes on the girls, and then we jump over to the team, Sir D.
Yeah, well.
Can I ask a question?
Go ahead.
Yeah.
So, Coach Devon, I mean, I know that you're a coach and you work with a football team, right? And I'm sure that your team has probably faced competitions. Crunch time. This is when the competition starts. I mean, can you just give us an idea of the level of organization and planning that goes into a team going into a tournament? I mean, how many people are involved? It's of course, it's not just the people who are planning football. It's about schedules, it's about transportation, it's about medical, all of those things. Because I don't know. I mean, are we being too hard on the JFF? Is it really a terribly hard task? What do you think about that?
No team going into a tournament should be suffering. No team should be on the back burner, because every tournament is very important for the team, for the players, for the country. There's a lot of logistics when you're preparing a team to go into a tournament. The most important thing is that you need accommodation. Who provides the accommodation? Who go away and check out where the team will be staying? If it's conducive to what we are trying to do. How far away from the stadium will the team be staying? The traveling time going to the stadium, traffic, food, training pitches. There's a lot of stuff goes into planning and preparation to get a team into a tournament.
Mr. Porter, who would you say is primarily the one responsible for this? Is it the coach? Is it the president of the organization? Is it the team manager? Who you think should shoulder the responsibility for getting most of those logistical things done?
The day-to-day activity for any federation is the GenSec. The GenSec has a team, whether he has a manager that works with him, but he's the one that should shoulder everything. He gives the order, he makes all the preparation and send out his troops to go and vet certain things to make sure that everything is in order, everything is conducive to what we are trying to do and achieve.
So what's the team manager's role in this situation?
So the team manager has a part to play, but he is mainly in charge of the personnel, the team members, the members of the team. He makes sure that all the travel arrangement is made and everybody is gonna be there on time and all those things. There's a lot of things to for him to do. When you get to the venue, he has to make sure that everything is in order, because now the responsibility is on his shoulder, because from the GenSec along with him and any other personnel goes into planning and goes into the area. Sorry about that, my phone fell. Goes into the area and vet everything. As soon as that team lands, everything is shoulder on the team manager.
Wow. I mean, I just think it is very interesting and illustrative, Mr. Porter. And thanks for answering that question, because it gives
And
us
here, here is Michael. Michael can chime in and probably give you more, because if anybody does not know who Michael is, he is the former vice president of the Ontario Soccer, and he has done a lot of work in that nature.
All right.
Oh,
so
yes.
that's really good. I remember
he has the blueprint.
Long time.
Mikey, big up.
Right. Good to see you. Good to see you, Michael.
Yes,
hello. You're muted.
I'm sorry I'm late. I had an alternate arrangement that they rescheduled, and so I was held up there. So I missed the earlier part of the discussions. But with regard to just sort of a general secretary's role, the general secretary is expected to be coordinating the arrangements for several programs all simultaneously. So he would have a staff under him and assigned the resources as is required by each of the groups at the required time. So for our general secretary right now, this is a crunch time, because he has basically two of the senior programs involved in very high level meetings for them. To the point I heard earlier, the Women's World Cup, it should be our primary event right now, without any question. That should be the number one priority right now, and the number two priority probably should be the Gold Cup. This kind of goes against the JFF's grain, because in the JFF's, even in their mission statement, I don't think they've updated it again recently, but it still points to the men's national team as their primary focus.
That is correct.
So, we're unfortunately talking about a mindset change throughout the organization to address, what should be a simple thing. This is not rocket science. This is project management 101. But even with project management, if your core values are skewed, then your implementation will also be skewed. And that's, I think, sort of at the core of what's happening with the JFF right now. Their core values is still the men's national team and promoting young male players overseas. That's been their stated focus. That's been their mission statement. And the personnel in the JFF have not changed sufficiently for there to be a mindset change across the organization. Yes, we have, two new high-level executives in there, and that bodes well. But if the governance has not changed, it's the same, the same setup. It's the same people. We don't see at the governance level increased female participation. How then are you going to see a change in how they view the female game?
Yeah.
The women's team is in the World Cup for the second straight time. We should be celebrating this. This should be on every placard, every billboard across the country.
Yeah.
But I can guarantee you that outside of the diehards of football fans, nobody really knows, or for that matter, really cares. Unless they go into the World Cup and create some noise and maybe get into the second round, and all of a sudden everybody's there, everybody's on the bandwagon. But right now, they're getting no love, and it's sad to say, but it is a reality.
It is strange.
Michael,
I just want to say something quickly, Rich. It's strange because even if we say by their mission statement, the JFF is admittedly a patriarchal structure that, as you said, the women's team seems, even by their mission statement, to be a side issue, not the main encore, right? But it's strange because in Jamaica, you would think that they would understand. We have many female sprint heroes who celebrate, celebrating our women and their accomplishments and recognizing those accomplishments is not something that is new to us. And I just find it really bizarre that we can be in a situation where we are celebrating Sharika Jackson and Shelly-Ann Fraser and all of the female greats, and the national imagination, being captured by those ladies, and we have a situation where the girls are in Jamaica, and I'm watching this thing and I'm not even sure where they are. Anyways, I'm sorry, Richie, I can go ahead.
No problem. It's in addition to what you've just said, for yourself, Neil, and Michael particularly. Could it be the case, and panelists, viewers, and subscribers, could it be the case that in terms of daring to dream in Jamaican footballing, sporting circles, the Reggae Boyz offer more of a dream and more of a chance because of the talent now that we've clearly identified, and we're putting emphasis on the overseas diasporal talent? There's more of a chance of the Reggae Boyz, even from a dream theoretical point of view, going deep into a Gold Cup run or going deep into qualifying for the arguably biggest event in sport or outside the Olympics, i.e. a World Cup. Where the Reggae Girls are concerned, getting out of the group, they're in the group with France, Brazil, and Panama, I believe. They may not get out of that group. So why get excited and get promotion and invest loads of money into a campaign that may not go any further than the group stage? And there's not much hope in certain circles, many circles, of them progressing further. Could that in any way be part of the JFF's thinking, and maybe the fans, in addition, who are not putting that additional pressure to say, let's hear more from the Reggae Girls, let's trumpet them, because they're not likely to go as far as we believe the Reggae Boyz have the potential to go, even though time and time again we've been let down?
Well, as a nation, we have long not given credence to sports psychology. But sports psychology will tell you that if you tell someone they can't succeed, it's a rare individual that does. And in teams, it's even more the case. So why would we be telling, through actions, basically telling these girls that we don't expect anything of them? No, I think that's entirely, ass backward. We should be promoting them. And to sort of jump a little bit on what Richard said. I agree with you that we trumpet our athletes, but tell me something. Since 2008, has not Shelly-Ann Fraser been on par with Usain Bolt in what she's done? Yet it is not until she wins her 5th World Championship that we suddenly start talking about her as one of the great sprinters. And to this day, we still don't say she might even be a more talented sprinter than Usain Bolt ever was. Think about
it goes back
to what she has done. You know, but this is what happens in society. We still think that to do it against the men carries that much bigger weight. We have to understand that the US women have been a juggernaut in track and field, an absolute juggernaut, more so than the men. And what Shelly and the women have done is absolutely phenomenal. And yet we still don't treat it with the same reverence that we treated what Usain did for those 12 years.
But Michael, if you check the stats and what Shellyan have done, I don't think nobody in the sports of athletics have done what she have done. So because I don't think nobody won more medals than her.
Let me just look at it from another point of view, okay? And I'm taking out the male, female, gender aspect of it, and just look at it from a financial aspect.
Follow the money.
Okay, now you qualify for a World Cup. It's a global billion-dollar event. Jamaica and the JFF get free, viewership, free what you call it, free global audience basically to sell your product. And you, in your infinite wisdom, can't see that, can't take advantage of that. You're qualifying for a billion-dollar event worldwide, giving you free advertisement, and you can't make opportunity of that. Something is wrong there, man. Something is wrong. You think if the boys go to the Gold Cup and win the Gold Cup, that is going to be bigger than the girls winning the Gold Cup? Winning the World Cup? I don't get it. I really don't get it.
Yeah. You hit on a very good point there, Kyle. And in fact, if you just sort of segue from that a little bit, what it almost points to is a fact that they haven't planned what they're going to do subsequent to this, because you've talked about now 2 very substantial financial inputs into the women's game. Have you heard one plan being mentioned about how those funds are going to be used? Has anybody?
It's going to go into the pot. That was a dispute with them and sell it the last time.
Exactly, and this is the problem. What pot is this, and how is that pot? Is that pot going to then go, okay, they brought it in, but we're going to do like we did with the men, and only 40% or 30% goes to the women's program? Is there any equity in that? Absolutely not. If they were to try that, I would be damn surprised if there's no massive lawsuit, quite frankly.
I say, well, that's why I'm bringing it in. I mean, they need a lawsuit. They really need a lawsuit.
Or they need to be proactive and actually show a program, show a plan, show anything.
The whole thing comes down to being penny wise and pound foolish. Basically, when they qualified for the Women's World Cup, they say, okay, we got this little money. That's it. Men, here you go. We're going to put the money into you.
There's a third way. Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to.
No, go on.
I was gonna say that there, and the money trail don't just stop there, Kyle. I listen. The men's game is more internationally TV broadcast rights, merchandising rights. The male game is more profitable, right? There's more money in it. Male players get sold, for higher amounts of money than female players, and many, I won't say many, but there seems to be a more distinct opportunity for domestic male players, who to be sold overseas and create an income for the interests, domestic interests within the JFF, versus that sort of opportunity for the women's team. Many of them who play overseas, or in college or wherever else. In fact, I think they're trying to stand up a local female league now. I'm not sure what the status of that is, but it doesn't escape my my observation that, frankly, they might also be given less respect and attention, because for the domestic interests, there is less of an opportunity to exploit that situation. And when I say exploit, I don't necessarily mean that they're being bad. I just mean that, if you're a capitalist and you're just thinking about making money, then frankly you're asking yourself, well, what is in it for you? Which is probably not the right question to be asking if you're in a national federation. Your view of things should be broader than that. But I think is a point that needed to be made as well.
Oh, yeah.
Decent conversation, good conversation. No, I think we have exhausted that. We can now segue into the boys. Let's start off with Coach Devon. Your thoughts on what is happening over there in Austria leading up to Chicago?
Yeah, I did not watch that game. I was in and out of it. Just getting I probably, for the whole game, I probably only see 20 minutes of it, because I was at work, so I was in and out. And I think what puzzles me is that we need to move away from certain things, that you're going into a major tournament and you're supposed to be preparing for the tournament, and key players are missing. For what reason, I don't know. Yes, there are players who play late into the season, but you're a professional athlete. Even if you are present at the camp, but you get time off not to be on the field, something has to give. You should be there, because you're flying into a tournament on the 20th and to play 3 days after. What sort of preparation you're gonna, or condition you're gonna be in to take the field so we can perform at the highest level? Look at the United States. Look at Mexico. Everybody is in camp. Look at the Nation League in Europe. Everybody is in camp. Don't they all play professional football? Don't they all play late into the season? And yet they're in camp and ready to play. Why our players have to be acting like that and going on like prima donnas? We can't get into to camp because I play late into the season, and the certain personal things. Somebody said something to me, and this is a former player, and this is a player from the diaspora who plays for Jamaica, who been to the World Cup, and he says, when people saying that, I have a new kid, and that's the reason why, it's lame. It's lame, because the kid's gonna be there when you get back too. There are certain things that you can put in place to make sure that the wife or the girlfriend, the kid, everybody is fine until you get back. But this is your job, and you're representing your country. It's a thing of national interest. you have to show some form of professionalism and commitment. Have to.
With that said,
Coach Porter.
with that said, if you're going down that road, I really did not want to comment on this thing again, because we have been on it. But if these players aren't being professional by taking a 1 week break or so, I believe that the coach needs to be blamed, because the coach was the one who accepted these reasons,
Explanations, right.
Yeah, but again,
no,
again.
Sir Devon. So yes, if you say that the players are unprofessional, fine. But it goes beyond that for me. For my boss to accept my reason without thorough scrutiny, or if needs be any scrutiny at all. So I don't know. I don't like the conversation of the players being prima donnas and all of these, and they should not take any break and all of that. You made mention of USA. USA has not picked the same team for Gold Cup and Nations League, citing that some players need their rest. So they are going to pick a different team. Other players from other countries have gotten their rest. Why, when it comes to Jamaica, there's two arguments. Them going like them a prima donna, or them not forgetting the rest, or them forget them rest. Why is it always a thing when it comes on to Jamaica?
If you hear what I said, I'm not saying that they're not supposed to get any rest, but they could have been into the team camp while getting rest.
You can't get no rest when you're in a team camp, Sir Devon, because
why not?
You are going to carry a man a camp to sit down for 1 week and not do nothing.
As a coach, sit down for 1 week. You give him a 3-day break.
But on a 3 days break him want, a 1 week him want. 3 days break. I will never call a camp with a team of players. I mean, I will have one man I lie down in a hotel room for 3 days now, do nothing, and him not hurt.
Yes,
not
you're speaking,
not under my law.
Yes, means. Yeah, man.
Go ahead, Rich Paul.
Wait, Richie, let me just make a point.
Kyle.
Let me just make a point real quick. England played yesterday. All their stars showed up. France played yesterday. They played Gibraltar. That's like us playing Cayman Islands. Mampe played. All their stars showed up. We have no excuse.
No, but there are other teams that also, Kyle, that plays without their stars. So we have to have balance in the whole thing.
But
we don't have that luxury.
I am using the big teams to make the point that if these big teams, England and France, can use their big stars to play these minnows, what is our excuse?
But Kyle, it's a good point that you're making. It's a good point, Kyle, that you're making. Give thanks, and Coach Sports has made a good point. But it's a point of view. Let us go back to the heart of the matter, which Coach Minzy has alluded to. We'd be all fascinated to find out what Cataract makes of this. But Coach Heimer Halgrimson, the overseas manager, FIFA approved, well thought of in most Jamaican footballing circles, has taken the decision openly to say, I accept certain absentees and reasons, and he's made the tough decision. He's the guy in the front seat. Remember, England, for example, there's been various circumstances and explanations with Pinnock, Antonio. I mean, England had Bukayo Saka. There were fans over here, many fans, pundits who were saying, Saka has had a long season. He doesn't need to play. Rest him. He doesn't need to play against Malta. So that's the thing. So, yes.
Yeah, these gentlemen even did not play the entire game.
Yeah. So there you go. So it swings and roundabouts. Do we trust the process and do we respect the manager?
But Richard, Richard.
And I see him think the other fans them did I say too, why players them not rest? So why when Jamaicans say it is an issue?
But Richard, you have to remember, Coach Al Grimson is in the hot seat. And Coach Al Grimson, yes, he has to come out and defend his players because he's a professional. I would have done the same thing because I don't want it to look bad on the player.
No, Coach Devon, that means I'm weak. You cannot use professionalism to cover that sort of behavior.
No. That's not weakness.
Of course, I would think that it is weakness because I'm gonna say because I'm a professional, I am going to speak about my player like that. If you know the player not committed, please don't select the player.
I think it would be a useful exercise when we're talking about this subject to be specific. So somebody, because there are players who are injured and who are with the team doctors, and frankly, we don't have the we don't have the sort of medical facility for them that their club has. And to me, if these guys are racing to get over a niggle here or there so that they can perform well in the World Cup, I would have them
in the Gold Cup.
In the Gold Cup. So I would have them stay. I would have them stay to receive that medical attention. As to the issue of the baby, I listen. If I could stay and be with my wife when she's giving birth to my child, I would do that. But I agree with Coach Porter, because to the extent that if you could do that quickly and get back over here, or if maybe there may be an occasion like this where it's the Gold Cup and the team's gonna play next week, where it's a honey, I'm gonna give you a WhatsApp call, right? He's a professional. I mean, I don't know, would that fly? If he were in the English, if it was an English Premier League game, I don't know, right? But I think that it's useful to be specific. But the bigger picture for me is that we are going to be ill prepared, because whether it's an injury, which may be an acceptable excuse, or it's because of the birth of a new child, which may be an excuse that could fly for some but not for others. The fact is that our team is not going to get sufficient preparation, because they're going to come and they're going to miss the games that the team is gelling. They're going to miss some of the exercises that the coach wants them to do. And literally, they're going to be preparing in the competition like we always do, like, the first 2 games of the Gold Cup is preparation. You understand? I mean, that since I've been in this space, it has always appeared to me that there is this unsaid idea that somehow the first 2 games is preparation too. So I don't know. Maybe we need a larger player pool. Maybe we need to be playing more international games to get us during the break, but that is definitely a failure to prepare as best as you can for the competition, in my book.
And
but Neil, go ahead, Kyle.
Yeah, our group, just got harder, because now we have Trinidad in there. So that's a grudge match right there. And then we have the USA. So, we need our practice matches.
Well, if we were about Trinidad, we'd not sad state.
Listen, Coach Harmonson has lost, the last 6 games? I mean, if you're not worried, I was optimistic, but no. Seeing all this commotion, these players not turning up and watching the game personally, the first half lacked urgency. It was like an open, it was like an open sewer. Just anything could run through you.
But Kyle.
One thing, Mr. Kyle, you see, these players weren't coming for the tournament, then would have an issue. I would definitely speak on that side of the fence. But it is similar to what is happening with the other teams, England playing 2 games, then go up on vacation. Jamaican ballers then don't play 2 games, then them going on one tournament. I see the scale being balanced there.
You think so?
Yeah. I see it being balanced there. Remember, are we pulling the comparison with other teams, you know? So we have to use it back.
I take your point.
And a point of order, by the way, it's not last 6 games. There was a 0-0 draw, I believe, with the Soca Warriors. Was that not the case? I think he's not won a game as yet, Coach Ahmed.
Kudos to coach for drawing a game. No, drawing a game. Yeah, kudos.
Yeah, but Kyle, you have to remember, you know, the team that we assembled to play Trinidad was a very youthful team. This team that plays yesterday, Trinidad plays that team will beat them. And we are not at full strength. But that's not the issue. The players should be in camp. Today is the 16th. We're going into a tournament on the 23rd. We're flying from Europe into the US in how many days? 4 days time. Okay. Our preparation is being done now. And our marquee players are not in camp.
Yeah. Don't matter what the situation is. That is just the bottom line.
And that is what I agree with now. I agree with that.
And isn't that a cause for concern?
I asked the coach a question.
Because
preparation has been ongoing since the time I've been watching. Preparation has always been, over the last 2 years, an issue. And it's pointed that under Coach Jaime Hallgrimsson, going forward, I think he will recognize that there are challenges. How much impact and influence he and his staff, the likes of John Wall, will have going forward, because the good news as far as Jamaican football is concerned, that with the introduction of the Nations Cup, the prospective entrance upon good results into a Copa America, and then going into the World Cup qualifiers, there's going to be a lot more footballing opportunities for the CONCACAF region, and particularly, of course, for the Reggae Boyz. Now, this is when preparation and planning games and camps really needs to kick in, and kick in fast. This Gold Cup, I think it's fair to say, it's not ideal preparation because of the absentees. The good news is we've had the likes of Dujon Whisper, the likes of Lebete. I always get tricky with that name, but it's given Coach Jaime the opportunity to get a look at the other players in the camp. So if we don't have the marquee players available, the other players are in camp, i.e. in Austria, getting to know what is required from Coach Jaime, and they're getting a chance to step up to see if they can make the final 23 and make an impact. We can't rely on a first 11 to win a Gold Cup or to go deep in a World Cup and a Gold Cup and in a Copa America. Should we get there, you need a squad, a deep squad. So we need to use the players that we have available and to test out exactly what strengths and weaknesses we have. But this issue, fundamentally, Coach Porter, I want you to look us in the eye. Are you saying you don't trust the process, i.e. Coach Jaime is aware of the injuries, the niggles, the Ethan Pinnock scenarios, the Michael Antonio situation, requesting a week off, and you don't trust that Coach Jaime is making informed decisions of his own back, as opposed to going through the motion, reading from a pre-prepared script and accepting anything goes? I am not thinking in London, England, that he is saying anything goes, no problem. I'm expecting him to be at the wheel, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer style, at the wheel, making the decisions and working towards.
And I wouldn't, and Richard, I wouldn't say that because I am not there. I don't know what transpired in conversation between coach and players, you know, but you you have to understand that the old folks always says, when your hand is in a lion mouth, you gotta take time and dry it out. Okay? He doesn't want to upset the apple cart, and then you hear a player can't go because of X, because of Y. Okay? So when the coach came out and speak, he has to be professional about it. You know, maybe that's not the real issue, but you have to say something. The question has been asked and it deserves an answer. So the professionalism of the coach is surmount. You know, he's an intelligent man. He is an intelligent man.
When he was asked about Omari Hutchinson, he said, "Let me be truthful." You know that a lot of people believe that based off what Coach Algrims has said, that the youth now want to play for Jamaica.
Here's the thing: people are people, and people will speculate. Okay.
And wasn't he being no? I'm just trying to make the point. Wasn't he being professionally there in that situation and being truthful? But yet still it was taken out of context. Or in another stead.
Yes, absolutely. And here's the thing. I just said the same thing, and I will say it again. People are people, especially Jamaicans, and they love to speculate. And if I say something, somebody is gonna say, "No, that's not true." When deep down, you know that's the truth. One thing with this coach, coach will tell you as it is.
Yeah, but Coach Devon, having asked the coach if he's not worried, he said no, he's not worried. But if he goes into the Gold Cup and start to and continue to lose in games,
okay, here's the thing.
When he's gonna be worried.
Here's the thing. Here is the thing.
Why are we worried now?
Yeah, here's the thing. He's in the hot seat. What answer would you expect from a coach who's in the hot seat going into a tournament? You ask him if he's worried. Is he gonna say, "Yes, I am worried"?
Of course,
it's gonna cause panic. It's gonna cause panic. Okay,
but him say otherwise, and it's still a cause panic. Him say otherwise, and it's still a cause panic because people just not believe.
Well,
and I says that's the nature of a human. If you don't know, you speculate and you won't believe. But you're not there, and I am not there, so I am not going to say anything in that regard.
If we want to take this sort of on a different, take a different track on it though. Let's look at the sort of the psychology of what he's facing here. He's going into a tournament without the full preparation he wants. Okay. As a professional coach, looking at the resources he has and the preparation that has been put in, he has a very good.
Is somebody's mic open? Is somebody's mic open? I want to hear Michael clearly. I'm hearing something like a television in the background.
All right. Sorry. Yeah. So you would expect that he has a fairly good idea of what his squad, what his team is capable of. Now, this is just me. If I know my team is not ready to go deep, but I have in mind a longer term process, do I come out and tell everybody, look, we're not going here to win. This is a longer term process, blah, blah, blah. Or do I tell people what they want to hear, knowing full well what results I'm expecting? We're dealing with Jamaicans here. You tell Jamaicans, boy, we're not going to win enough, but we're going to go there to see X, Y, Z happen. You know what the outcome is going to be. I think this man has worked out precisely what he's dealing with and what he can and cannot say.
Yes.
He's not going there to win the Gold Cup. He knows we're not prepared. If it happens, it happens. And don't get me wrong, it can happen because we have talent. No question about that, right? But they're not prepared to win. Not when you consider what the likes of Canada, US, Mexico, Panama have been doing, right? So that's a reality. Is he weak for going
Michael, you know what happens?
saying, yeah,
sorry to interject there, Michael, but you know what happened? The people listened to JFF talking about they want to win Gold Cup.
JFF can say all they want,
coach,
but
I don't recall the coach saying that.
Exactly, the JFF is we have to remember this. The JFF is what? An administrative body. The JFF don't coach a single person. They don't go on a field. They don't kick a ball. They can say whatever they want to say. At the end of the day, what you should listen to is the coach and the players and watch what they are doing. And to a man here and a woman out there, all of us know this team not prepared properly. Right? So the reality is we're going there with a squad that has holes. Everybody knows that. There are certain positions that we woefully, underrepresented. And we haven't trained or had enough of a camp with everybody there, the normal good process of preparation. I remember, what was it, 2 years ago, 4 years ago, 6 years ago, 8 years ago? Were we not in the same position, saying the same things? I mean, maybe that's one of the problems when you get older, you start forgetting things. So maybe I'm forgetting, but I actually believe we go through this cycle every 2 years. What have we done differently going into this cycle from the last? I'm asking the question because I personally haven't seen anything different. And as Mr. Einstein, this sort of semi-famous guy, said, doing the same thing over and over
New
and
coach.
expecting a different result is insanity.
New coach.
So the reality, we have a new coach, but we've had a new coach in 4 of the last 8 World Cups, World Cup/Gold Cup cycles, as far as I can recall.
Well,
where's the difference? Cataract seems to have a point here, and I'd really like to hear. I see he's been.
Michael, long time no see, brother.
I just want to make a quick point. Just one line. That's it. Cataract. I've listened to this coach attentively, and he has spoke, and he has said that every game that he goes into win. Now, he didn't come out and say that he's going to win the Gold Cup, but he has said in the past that every game that he plays, he goes into win.
He has said that, yes.
Right. Now, that's to speak on his psychology. He's a medical doctor, so he must have some psychological wit about him. And
of
as
course,
you said, Mike,
is it medical doctor?
So, what, dentist? A dentist is a medical doctor. It comes down to what do you specialize in, and he's a dentist. Anyway,
stop dancing the pin, CD. Stop dancing the pin. Go ahead, Kyle.
Mike.
This is a long one sentence, though.
I've done it one more minute. Like you said, he knows the psychology that he's dealing with, not only of his players, but the Jamaican public. So for him to basically say anything different, you know what I mean? That's basically, a fast way to get himself out of a job. So he knows what he's dealing with. Over to you, Cataract.
Well, before Cataract take the microphone, Kyle.
Yes, sir.
I don't know if me listen to you correctly or me overthink, but you sound like you're not to trust this coach again, or if you did.
I mean, like I said, I said I am worried. I'm not going to lie to you. Based on how the team is coming in, it doesn't look good. And based on what I saw in that first half, oh man, that team was open. It's like a sieve. You know what I mean?
Okay.
So I mean, I'm not going to lie to you. If I watch the Jordan game and I see different, you know what I mean? Listen, it's football. There's one thing I know about football. It's psychological. It's bipolar. It's schizophrenic. You'll be happy 1 minute, sad the next, crying 1 minute, cheering the next, all in the span of 90 minutes. That's football. So I'm prepared for it. Over to you, Cataract. Sorry.
Big up the man. Them. I listened and I listened and I listened and I listened. I hope we will get to talk a little about the football and the game and what we saw. So here the thing. I said from the start, I'm prepared to give Coach Hal Grimson the Nations League, the Gold Cup, and the windows for the year to get his act together. So I'm not going to stand down from that. No, the signs going into the Gold Cup are ominous. The signs going into this game was ominous. And what I want to understand from the coach and what is given to us as information from the JFF, there's some dissonance. We were told that a 50-man roster, and we saw it, was presented to CONCACAF, right? The roster, at the time, I questioned and queried the exclusion of 3 players. If you're saying the 50 best players from Jamaica to form a roster, meaning it's not sure. Andre Gray, who has scored 6 goals in 5 games in Europe, playing at the top league in the top league in Cyprus, right? Week in, week out. Anthony Grant, who got himself into a team in League 2 for the relegation battle and helped in saving the team, along with Corey Adai. And Tyreek Jimenez, who, for all intents and purposes, has gone to Belgium and is getting playing time, right? Now, when I looked at the pitch yesterday, I am hard-pressed to understand. The coach, when I asked the question, said Grant and Gray didn't fit in what he was trying to do. And that's the base of the answer here. I am guaranteeing you, I put my neck on the block. Andre Gray was not missing those chances that were presented to Boza by Whisper. He has demonstrated to us that he can be a clinical striker and give us the goals. So, in looking at the game, and I'm going to look over 2 games to see what it is that the coach was asked of his striker. Corey Burke was anonymous in the game, and I'm putting these things on the table. The CDM, the central midfield pairing, Joel Latibedera gave us my man of the match in that box rule, and I'm still willing to give John Russell a few games to really see what he has to bring to the table, but I can't see what it is that was different. At the right back, Javane came in and had a better game than Dexter. Dexter didn't look himself, as we saw in Mexico. So I have some question marks that I'm going to look to the Jordan game to get it answered. But I am still saying the coach has a responsibility, and I'm not going to second guess the brother. But trust me, bro, I was not happy with what I saw yesterday, and I don't think any Jamaican fan can be happy. We came to the game, we were not at the races. We were left sitting in the blocks. Qatar came to the races. There were times when they just dissected the middle like butter going through knife. They ran riot on the wings, particularly because our wingers in Whisper and
Paris
in Paris were not tracking back and taking care of the defensive responsibility. Yes, Whisper, I am going to say I am not coming down with a hammer on the kid, because I think the coach sees in him something, and I see that over time he will become a fixture in the Jamaican national team setup. But those who were going premature about talking about Whisper better than Antonio, Whisper, you Whisper better than Roof and them striker there, you have gotten your answer. He is a seed that has begun to germinate and will grow into a tree, but he is just a seed, far from the finished product. At centre back, I don't know. What's with Richard King and the long balls? Damian Lowe is not present. And yet we had somebody step up to the plate and say, hey, I'm going to put up those 13 or 12 or 13 long, wasteful passes, none of which found the target. Right? And we didn't have our best squad, but I didn't see players who were putting their hands up to say, I want to be in that 23-man squad by my performance. When Daniel Johnson came on the field for his few minutes, I saw a championship player. Demario Phillips, I saw players give an assessment, but I saw some very heavy touches from Demario. Lots of effort, huffing and puffing, but he was the only true cam. So I just have to wait on the Jordan game and hope to see a whole different performance. But in going into a tournament, you would want to have your 23 men together and put them through their paces and their drills.
Absolutely.
So anybody making a pretense that, yo, a Sega, I know nothing, everything all right, everything mucho, everything caliente, and to quote True Island Stories, Irie Man. It's just Irie Man, you know? Irie Man. Brother, let me tell you something. Man like Kyle know this. A whole heap of money for fly go to Chicago then. The ticket them for the stadium are cheap, brother. And the hotel them in Chicago are cheap, me that. And nearly 4 bills for a good hotel. Don't Kyle lie me attack?
Listen, man.
It's not cheap, me done. So me no want no man where I go sit down behind them keyboard and try tell we say everything Irie Man, a whole heap of sacrifice man and man do for full up section 231. A whole heap of sacrifice. Man a drive 12 and 16 hours through them can't do match up with the airplane fare. Brother, me could get this right. Please and thank you. And when USA go on with, although it was their A team over Mexico, I think there's a word my good English friend Rich Pooh can say. I felt a bit queasy.
Did you? Queasy.
Queasy.
Mm-hmm.
Queasy.
I hear you, Cataract. Cataract, and to the panel, going ahead. One of the concerns, looking on the bigger picture, is Coach Porter in the house still?
Yes, I'm here.
Well,
All right,
Rich Pool. I want to bring up that point.
All right, I'm going to put a pin in there and question. Yes, go ahead.
Jason saying we played Trinidad and we looked way off, woefully awful. And a few days later, y'all praised the coach for how we looked against Mexico. And when I talks about the coach, I'm just bringing up the comment of one of the persons who is behind the keyboard.
We are not calling for the coaches.
Hold on. No, he's not listening.
Hold on, let me finish. I'm just bringing up a point from one of the persons
So
behind
why
the
would you?
keyboard of Cataract Attack. Say,
But
Listen,
that's
nobody
because
say nothing negative about the coach.
nobody on this panel called
We'll
for the
nobody
We're
will
talking
never
about
say anything like
preparation.
that.
Two different things.
You
Preparation and
see,
coaching is two different things.
And nobody here has called for the head of the coach. So I'm going to try that.
listening a conversation and understand a conversation,
Thank you.
or reading something and understand it is two different things. This is the thing that Michael allude to. They hear what they want to hear.
Hold on, Sir D. Me not pick up for just, you know. But me believe, say, based on what transpired against Trinidad, I think this is a valid point based on the conversation we're having. Nobody on the panel is really calling for the coach head, but based on the on this message, we had a different team playing in a tournament, which tournament again? The Nations League, and we played friendly against
Trinidad. The domestic squad.
Right, and then a team switch up which did not prepare with these two friendly games, and go to Mexico, go do one of the most incredible things that any team can ever do in Azteca, getting a 12 draw, and that just basically I say.
But, coach, here's the thing. As a coach myself, here's the thing. Playing assembling and playing a one game is different. The preparation is different from going into a tournament which lasted over 2 weeks to 2.5 weeks. You're preparing to play 5 games in how many days? Okay? And this is what we are talking about.
6 games.
This is why the players need
6 games. 6 games, yeah. 6 games over how many days? No. I am not saying that the players don't need rest. But when you're going to take extensive rest and then to come back.
Sir D, that is not extensive rest.
Okay. Coach.
Coach. You know what?
Coach.
You know, the
coach.
Word, I'm not sure if it's the word where you're using because extensive, you know.
Coach, here is the thing. All I hope is that when the players take the pitch, nobody comes out and says, "Oh, him look lethargic, him not ready, him not." I don't want to hear that. I don't want to hear that.
I think the point Mr. Porter is making, coach, is that Coach Hamilton doesn't even know what he's working with in terms of, fitness, injury, mental state.
Yes, to get them back up to speed.
What do you mean him man don't know where my work with and him tell where a press conference will go on with the player them?
Oh, but the point is that they're just coming in.
Him said the players them are come off for every him not said the whole all of us know.
We know
that some of these players have ended their season. So much sharpness now go there. So if we not bring it to that, yes, then playing one of those games out of the two would have been important.
Much sharpness, mentally ready.
What you mean mentally ready? No, you can't judge them mentally. Just so. You mean
football man them play, you know? That's what I'm saying. That when they come into camp, he has to look at them to make a determination if these guys are mentally ready to perform. What if them still in them party mood?
So let me ask the question.
Kyle, I was just gonna say that.
So if the players them in them party mode, them in them vacation mode. So if you call off going to the tournament because we're not prepared.
Yeah.
Coach Minzy.
No, we're not. Coach. No, Coach. We're not saying that.
Never, hold on, Coach. Let me say something to you. All the way a big man. All the way a follow ball game. We know what is the ideal and and optimum
There's
preparation.
no ideal situation.
Hold on, bad man.
Me now hold on for nothing because there's no ideal situation.
What do you mean there's no ideal preparation?
There's no ideal.
Okay, let's get it back to
preparation. I said preparation. I said,
but there's
no
ideal situation. The coach want all our players them to
situation. Me talk about preparation.
The coach want all our players them to come.
Which you talk about?
23.
Okay, Cataract.
So it is never going to be ideal.
Let's get back to the way we started. We don't want to get down that hole. We don't want to get down that road. So just get it back to the subtle conversation, intelligent conversation that yes, but we don't have to get on that tangent.
Can I jump in for a second?
Hold on, Cranky, because I gave an hour of man for just say them thing. Let me say this.
You don't give no hour no cataract.
No
bother with it.
I mean, I get an hour.
You don't give no hour.
I've been paying attention to my dentist.
Yeah. You don't want to know people say you have a dentist beside you. That's all they're interested in, I know. Nobody know I know say you have a dentist.
They have to pull out in teeth.
Pull out my teeth. That's why the lady say I have a beautiful smile. Me not carry rotten teeth. So hold on there.
See you look alike coming in the comment section there.
Coach. Well, I defy Joe Grind to turn his camera and have a beautiful company like I have. Bruh, you want to be me so badly? Okay. Now, Coach, I said, we all know what is optimal preparation for a major tournament. And what we are seeing is suboptimal, subpar preparation for a major tournament. And we cannot lie to ourselves. Now, me no yam breadfruit, and me no coward. Coach, what I'm saying is that the fans, people like Kyle and others, Mannings, have done a task in trying to get the fans together. Neo, who was the man who found the section in the cheap seats. May I have a thought, Neo? I put the ultras in the cheap seats. I think we reached about 100 yet, Neo. Man and woman them were take over section. We would like our team and the preparation and the JFF administration to reflect the sacrifice of time, money, love, emotion, mental stability to support our team, that we get a performance that we can truly be proud of. Coach, me no know what I'm going to do in St. Louis if Trinidad draw with Jamaica, you know. Me no know. Me go mad out.
So can I jump in because Cataract is going for a tangent?
I'm not going on a tangent. I'm saying if
I'm
Trinidad...
not cutting off because you've been talking for a while now.
Which while? I'm watching the
No,
minute.
give a break. Here we go again with me and you.
I've been talking for 2
minutes.
Give
your mouth a break for a second.
No. Give me my other...
I'm going to jump off. Give your mouth a break. You can't dominate the entire conversation. Give somebody a chance to talk.
Oh, now if you remember, so Trinidad won Mexico in a was it the last Gold Cup? So if you attack said Jamaica draw with Trinidad, yeah, go on like the Cataract.
Don't have a tangent, Cataract. Stay back on the conversation. I'm gonna jump in, Coach.
Yeah, go ahead.
So we got to get comfortable with the uncomfortable when it comes to a national team. We will never have an optimum situation. It's not possible.
Thank you.
Given how we operate, given how we're constructed, given our resources, it's not possible. We have players dispersed all over the world, mainly in Europe. We have to bring together local players with our European players at some centralized location. We have players who are stretch playing the entire year and they need break. It will never be optimum. We're not England where all the players come from almost the same place, same location,
get together. Even there, they're struggling. They have enough
Right.
quality to play 30, 40 players, and they rotate their teams. We don't have that same ability. The US is using, why do you think the US is using 2 teams in the Gold Cup? You don't think they want to bring their entire team together, their best 11, their best 22, and have them play? They're using 1 for the Nations League, 1 for the Gold Cup. There's a reason. Everybody nowadays in today's environment does game management, meaning I can break down my team, I can kill off my players, I can run them into the ground. That's a fact. So we're going to sit here and lambast players who want to take vacation. We've been playing since last July. Are we out of our minds? What are we thinking? What world do we live in? Because you're going to satisfy us on what we want. Then we're going to beat the coach because he doesn't have everything at his disposal. We're going to beat the JFF because they don't have enough money to bring 30, 40, 50 players to Europe to be in the state. Come on, guys. When I listen to the conversation sometimes, I'm frustrated thinking, what are we thinking? We are not thinking. We live in the only the world that doesn't satisfy us, so we are perturbed and upset and concerned when we're not thinking through what I was thinking about yesterday when I was watching the game, which is I saw the players in a nice environment. I'm like, how much does that cost? How much does it cost to run a football program for a country that doesn't have the money? It's Qatar, a lot of money.
Qatar paid for it all. I can tell you that.
But Qatar paid for the flight, them flying there?
Everything.
So any players we brought, they would have paid for it.
So Stan Kroenke, and,
Yes.
and this is now, thanks for the real Stan Kroenke coming out. So don't make us get vexed. You and I were in Orlando 2 years ago. We saw what was said to us as optimal preparation. A team of 25 were brought together for 9 days in Orlando prior to the tournament.
And then boss fight.
Well, that happened.
Coach, you know, easy though.
Hold that. Hold that.
Radam. All right, Radam.
Coach, you know.
Coach.
Silent in fear.
No boy, that they don't play come like a player one tennis or dub.
Sound dead.
Let me dig up in that box. And that one come if you dig up in that box. Look, coach, listen.
I may have more to you know.
I want to ask, next time I get a chance to ask Mr. Speed, who is the wise man that came up with this idea that going to Austria away from the place where you're playing was a brilliant idea? Because what we were told the last time is to have the players, the team in camp for about 9 days prior to the tournament was the ideal preparation. They would get acclimatized to the United States and everything, and they'd be together. So I could be shut up if we win the Gold Cup and I'd have to say,
but Cataract, they'll be together, Cataract, because the Antonios of the world, the DJs of the world, the pinups of the world have to have time off. Think about it. Preseason starts in mid-July, doesn't it?
Yes, it does.
How much time they get after the Gold Cup is finished if they go to the final of the Gold Cup to get a rest before preseason starts? Then they go back and do a full season starting in August.
So
they don't have family, they don't have wives, they don't have kids they want to go out with and spend some time with.
No, they're not being professional if they do that, Cranky.
Madam, I'm saying to you, I'm not beating a player who says, okay, I need this because I had an extra week. But then I also have to balance and look at an Amari Bell. No player in the Jamaican squad, none, have played more games this season than Amari Bell.
But
just allow
Bell
me
is
to
not the example. Operations are not examples.
Just allow me to
give me normal, give me average.
Amari Bell has played almost every game for Luton Town and almost every minute of every game. 90 minutes each time he's on the field. He played 3 additional games, including overtime. But if a player says, I need to have a break, I am not going to fight it. If there are players who the coach says has to be with their club because of injury and recuperation, and the coach in his best estimation feels that the optimal treatment is with their team doctor, I support that. What I am alluding to, Stan, is issues like Taxi Lawrence can't get a Schengen visa in time. CFS can't get a Schengen visa in time. That's the part I'm alluding to. So I am not on the bandwagon of beating a man who wants to spend some extra time resting his thing, because Mikel Antonio is in his latter years. So if that's what he needs, that's what he needs. I'm not beating that. So I just to be clear, I am speaking about the fact that there are players who are there for reasons other than footballing or medical reasons who are not there.
Who?
But
Kemal Lawrence is not there for administrative reason. Ronaldo CFS is not there for an administrative reason.
That are two.
We're not hearing him. We're not hearing him.
That are two.
We're not hearing
Real
him.
talk, CD.
Yeah, but it doesn't matter, coach, whether it's one or two. It's an ongoing theme. It's a consistent ongoing
And I agree with that.
You know,
I agree with that. But Ronaldo Cephas is a new player. Taxi is a returning player.
It doesn't matter. They are still players. And there's still players in this squad that needed to be there. And it's not as if we didn't know when the flipping Gold Cup was coming. You know, Gold Cup is scheduled 2 years ahead of time. Seriously, how long does it take to prepare paperwork?
Michael, maybe.
No, Michael, you can't use 2 years. How long it takes? No, Michael, you can't use 2 years and I say how long it takes for them do paperwork.
No. Coach. Let me cut you off here. You keep jumping in when somebody makes a statement to over exaggerate, but you know what I'm saying. Don't.
No, Michael, that is not a correct statement to make. You can't say how long Gold Cup come 2 years.
We know that the Gold Cup is every 2 years.
But
we know that. So we know what preparations we need to make. We know what processes we need to have in place. It does not matter whether the person is brought on. If we know that this is going to happen and we have the plan in time, we should have our processes in place and our people in place to ensure the processes work. It's that simple. I don't care what industry, what profession you're in. That is how you get things done. You have plans, you have processes, and you have people in place to make sure these processes work. It's that simple. It's not rocket science. People do it. They know that if they're going to market, you have to be ready for when the truck comes. My grandmother used to do that.
All right, we have a call online. Caller, welcome.
All right, coach, enough respect. All right, listen to the post-match press conference yesterday, you know? And like the facts say, you kind of be innovative. Ask 3 sensible questions. So we have a couple of things we more highlight real quick. Seeing, I'm going to start with most of the vloggers and then we get into the JFF and the football part type. I think a lot of these vloggers call for professionalism, but they need to deeply look within themselves. You understand me? Or what some highlights of some other press conferences and see the type of question that these journalists or vloggers ask in order to elicit certain response that is going to be beneficial to the wider public. You understand me? I feel like a lot of people have a lot to say when you watch them YouTube channel, and once them get the opportunity to ask these questions, they leave a lot to be desired. All right? As I mentioned earlier, I saw your question and it makes sense. But when we really want to get into as it relates to the JFF and the football program, right? And when we are going to say right now, probably heard some feelings because the Gold Cup is a championship, is the equivalent of the championship to the Reggae Girls that heading towards the Gold Cup. And I find it almost like criminal that everybody is so fixated on the Gold Cup as if the Reggae Girls don't even have a World Cup coming up in a few weeks. You understand me? Nobody speak about it. And I've seen where the Reggae Girls and put out a letter, and pretty much how the JFF treating the Reggae Girls is pretty much how we, the public, is treating them. Because can you imagine if the Reggae Boyz were heading to the World Cup right now, and the Reggae Girls, like how CONCACAF implement World Cup, I go to the World Cup, and we here stressing about the World Cup, when we have a national team heading to a senior World Cup. I think we need to do better than what we are doing, as it relates to the women and the men. Secondly, I'm just asking this question, Coach, right? I'm just need a response. Are you familiar? I am not. Are you familiar with the JFF Constitution? There's a reason I ask the question. Are you familiar with the Constitution or the organization set up?
Yeah, man, somewhat. But I think they did some alteration, you know.
Okay. So the reason why, and I might sound ignorant right now because I'm not 100% familiar with it. Saying the reason why I asked the question is, we're asking the JFF over the years, every year, to do better, to conduct themselves professionally. When the JFF, based on my knowledge, is made up of these different parish federation. If we look back at the parish federation, realize that a lot of them is the same person that lead them for the last 20, 30 years or whatever the case is. There's not a lot of changes. You understand me? And these federations have a lot to say and a lot to do with how the JFF operate, because cronyism in Jamaica, it's still prevalent. You understand me? So when election time comes, it's who you can really get on your side. So I feel like if there's a possibility to make the Constitution and how we select the JFF president a little bit more liberal, for lack of a better term, right? Where you, at some point in time, you can have a president who has no association with the parish federation. You understand me? For example, how we don't have money like the United States, but just use it as an example. Or them select them leadership, them go back to past players and all of them things. I don't see where past players involved in the JFF thing a lot. And I feel like that definitely I heard how the JFF operate because tunnel vision. You understand me? Them tunnel vision. So me feel like if them can't do some reconstruction, I don't think it's possible, because to do that, everybody are gonna lose their power. And everybody want hold on to power. You see me? Finally, as it relates to the Gold Cup, I feel like, we just trust the process. Just trust the process, because there have never been a time where we've been able to sit down and have conversations, say, we see the Reggae Boyz even at the pool, we see them do this, we see them do all of them little thing there. So we can't trust the process and say, the coach, you understand me? He is in charge. And as him saying at the post conference, him say sometimes him play some game, him do certain things. So when it reach to the tournament, him know exactly what to expect and what him need to do. So I think the ultimate goal of the coach and Adidas is World Cup 2026. You understand me? If the World Cup start now, we still see the disjointed performance and all of them things. I think it would raise a cause of concern. But trust the process. If the coach say I'm okay with the players giving these excuses, not that any of our players playing at the World Cup, but remember say, you just have a World Cup one this year as well, Whole if I game now, some team I play 60 at game, Mikel Antonio, he's remember in the club of a flying here on private plane and all of them stuff there. And to me, that's sacrifice. You understand me? So let's trust the process and support become the 12th man in a stadium like how it used to go on in 1998. And when the Reggae Boyz and the Reggae Girls show up in Jamaica, you understand me? Let our presence do the talking. That's how I have to share with you, coach. Respect for the time.
Where's the caller calling from? Where are you calling from, caller?
Calling from the Republic of South Korea. We're still in Korea. You understand?
I sold you this one.
Coach Tex.
I sold you this.
Yeah, man. Yo, Contractual.
But Soji, I know something what you said, yes. Bro. We have talked about the girls. We have given the girls them flowers. We have discussed their issue. That's how we started the program for the first hour or so.
No, me understand that today. But if you look at it collectively, can you say?
So that's not right, Soji.
No,
That's the only thing I'm going to take you to task about.
Yeah, go ahead.
And I want to take you to task. My one question when I ask about what the explanation for CFS, you tell me, say, my question never make no sense. Because I hear you big up coach desk and feel question. And you make my one question look like one football question.
Oh, no. But
the
question. Wait no, man. Wait no. It's the question about CFAS and the visa situation. I think they kind of summarize that in the whole incompetence of the JFF, and part of the incompetence is coming from the whole cronyism. You understand me? Hence the reason why I say, yo, if them can find a situation to make the organization more professional, you understand me? These things will be ironed out months, weeks. You understand me? They will never be caught surprise. But unless them look at case in point, think about a JFF press conference before Simon Preston being the press officer. You understand me? It's just unprofessional. Oh, yo, hold on there. All right, may I go over there, so now? Let me see that man there over there. So you have something to say? You understand me? So may I say, yo, trust the process and support the team. You understand me? So I'm not gonna really beat everybody. When I say, yo, the Reggae Girls, I talk collectively as vloggers, as Jamaican, I don't see where we put enough emphasis. Like we say when we call in for the program, seeing the Reggae Girls when they came to Korea, me know say if I don't watch it game and I say, yo, where so much Jamaican come from? Seeing, and every one of the Jamaican say that the whole of them in the military. Once the schedule drop, me start run around and say, yo, we are going the FWR and we are going request a bus. And everybody over here so them sell the Jamaican flag. When we reach at the stadium and the JFF step off of the bus and them see the amount of Jamaican, they shocked. Them couldn't believe. You understand me? So that's the reason why we say, yo, we have to show up and we have to support. You understand me? No matter where in the world me I go say forever, say Jamaica. You understand me? Because all right, that's on my heart lies.
All right, Soji.
Respect, Soji. Respect.
Yes, Soji. Yeah. Oh, go ahead, Soji.
We're Cataract.
They're right, someone.
Cataract, a full time. You put back the sound for the road, all right? We play a Super Goal sound, make it happen, bring it back to the 90s.
The sound, Cataract song has never stopped being on the road. The coach will never come on your program last night when me a drive go a party. I let me show you the piece I saw in my vehicle. Cataract song.
We're not talking about the
a Super Goal you play a Super.
We're not talking Super Goal.
Okay.
From Texas. But big up yourself, man.
Super Goal for actually want to have a two little nitty-gritty don't play the eye for me. Avatar, you have a player.
You forget the tenor saw them.
Tenor saw nitty-gritty. You know, you said earlier, Avatar, I play on the sound.
Yes, man. All right, big up yourself, man. See?
Yeah, man.
All right, Soji, big up.
No, Super Bowl a big sound, but an iron balloon. Like, yeah, I'm both with them hold it a bad double.
I want to make a point, you know. So, go ahead, Cataract. I'd like to make a point.
No, go on, Bridgeport. Cataract can talk long time, man.
Blessed. Just kicking off on the back of what you guys have been talking about. How confident are you that anytime soon?
Don't talk about the question.
Yeah, man. No. God bless you. Yeah, man. I don't want to do that. Simon Preston was interviewing Joel Letibaudier, and Letibaudier said he was really happy to be in the camp, bonding, because when you bond, that forms a winning formula. I'm concerned right about now that we are not as close as I'd like us to be to having a band, a consistent 23 to 30 man squad that Coach Heimer can work on. How confident are you that Coach Heimer will be able, for the Gold Cup and going forward into the World Cup campaign, having a set group of players, just like Gareth Southgate in England, just like the Italians, the Brazilians, that will be focused, know who they are, to form the best Reggae Boyz going forward, because consistency is key.
That's my psychological question, right? Will they be in party mode, vacation mode, or will they be ready to play the game?
I don't think that's the question, though.
Huh?
I think the question is more around, we seem to have players coming in and out of the team on a regular basis. We don't have set 25 or 30 players. So Richard's question is, will we have a situation where we have 20 regulars and then maybe 2 or 3 that come in and out, depending on who is in form or who is not in form? Are we going to have the situation where it's a constant turnover of players because we can't get that set group of players in the team on a regular basis? I do think that for the coach, it's going to be a continuous evaluation process, at least for another year, to get a set 16 or 17, and he'll have some leeway for 4 or 5 slots. But if you think about it, he's now in the recruiting process, and you can see the number of players he's recruiting, and the quality of players is somewhat improving. And I expect that to continue because the primary objective is to qualify for the 2026 World Cup. It's not necessarily the Gold Cup. The Gold Cup is one of the steps along the way on that journey to do so. So I do think he has to continue with that evaluation process and start identifying those players who he believes will be part of the continuum as he go forward in this journey. I don't think now is the time, Richard, he's going to be able to attain that. I think he's going to be at least within another year for him to get that set group he's looking for that he knows will not be displaced no matter who sort of comes along. Because you've got to, just like England does or Brazil does any other team, they have a set 16, 17, or 18. I think we'll get there, but I think what he wants to do is uplift the talent. So he has to go to the PL now to try to recruit. And when he gets some of those players in, who's going to be embedded in the team, you will have that squad that you're looking for, which is not the constant turnover we're experiencing today.
So Cranky, how do you think we'll do in this tournament?
It depends on who turn up. I am of the philosophy and perspective that it's about the players. Nobody will tell me about coaching and coaching strategy and acumen and system. Normally, if you have very, very good players and they can adapt to your system, you can do well. He needs better players. So we watched the game the other day, and then we talk about players and their ratings. But if I look at the team holistically and the players on the field, all I can summarize is saying he needs better players in a number of positions.
Yeah, but he said that too, Cranky, that he gave them a 5 and a half. So
no, I didn't watch the press conference. I didn't watch the press conference, but if I watched the U.S. play Mexico yesterday and how they dominated Mexico, you think about the last 6-7 years with U.S. and Mexico, it was a one-sided construct initially, with Mexico winning most of the time, That has pivoted and changed materially over the last 5 or 6 years, where now the U.S. is putting up MLS team in the Gold Cup, and the team they play yesterday is probably their main team with a few exceptions, right? And they're not dominating Mexico. I know it wasn't Mexico's necessarily the best team, but Mexico put any 30 people on the field and do well. It's not the case anymore. They were in the game yesterday. And they resorted to lack of sportsmanship because they couldn't deal with the outcome. So we have to get to that point as a country, as a group, as a team. And I can tell you, I expect in the next 6 to 8 months or 10 months, he'll get more resources from the PL, is my expectation. He'll bring them in and embed them, and you'll see how quality compensate for lack of preparation.
So, all right. Before you go, Kyle, Qatar brother drop a $5 super chat. Big up yourself. Can anyone identify a style of play or system from the Qatar game that Coach Grimmett is trying to implement?
4-4-2 or 4-3-3. That's all I'm not for certain. Anyway, Cranky. So basically, what you just said is you don't know how it's going to go in this tournament. You're going to give him leeway to build his squad.
Yeah, I mean, guys, think about this. We brought one of our better teams to Mexico in the Azteca, and it's the first time we truly gave them a run for their money, apart from once we drew with them in the Azteca. We could have won that game easily. And it's not a game where we played and defended 95 minutes and they missed tons of chances. We competed with them, right? Because the quality was better. And I expect the quality to continue to improve as we bring more players in. So as we bring in the Antonios and the Pinuts and the DJs and others to the Gold Cup, you'll see the upliftment in the team's performance because they've been working with the coach for a little while now. And as we bring in more players, I can tell you, Kyle, I think 6 to 8 to 10 more months, we'll have a better feel as the direction of travel for the team and how they'll perform going forward. But the problem we're going to run into continuously is, and it's not going to stop now, even during the World Cup campaign, is availability of players.
Yeah.
True.
We have a caller online. We have a caller online. Hold on, Michael. Let me take the caller. Caller, go ahead.
Good night, Coach.
Good night,
So,
Sir Spence.
Yeah, what you say, boss? Good night to Stan, Brenton from the UK, Cataract and the crew with respect.
Good night, caller. Good night.
First of the things that we have to look at, our team will never perform well with 2.5 or less than 2 training sessions. Jamaica needs 10 training sessions to look like a cohesive unit. 10 minimum. So one of the things, me personally, I don't expect Jamaica to perform well with anytime they get along 2 training sessions, 3 training sessions, a walkthrough. No, the performance is going to be Jamaica needs 10 training sessions.
Wow. When will I get that?
10. But so, Coach, we already had 2. They're going to have 2 more in Austria. Play the US game. I expect that to be a poor performance. And then they have 4 or 5 days between those to get together. So don't expect Jamaica to start clicking until the 3rd day of the Gold Cup. For the Gold Cup, get the results, is just move on and advance, and then look for them to do better. But don't expect the performance to be anything special until the 3rd day of the Gold Cup.
So where's the caller? The caller, I have a question. You said the wrong ticket them. You said the wrong ticket them match Kyle them buy the ticket for. We should have just go to Santa Clara.
Wrong down. Wrong down. Good.
Tell Neo, Mr. Neo, say, yeah, Kyle, come in. I say, yeah, all right, man, come.
Yeah, forward.
Dead man, what you mean?
Anyways, Michael wanted to say something before.
Yes,
Richard.
he did. Yes.
Go ahead.
Yes,
Michael.
go ahead, Michael.
I sort of wanted to piggyback on what Cronky had been saying. I have sort of maintained this throughout, and I'll say it again. I think this constant shuffling of players in and out of the teams over the last little while is in part, yes, to see players, but if I'm reading what the coach has been saying and reading between the lines of it, I believe his focus is on creating not just a team to win now, but creating some sustainability in our process. And what I think he is actually trying to do is he's identifying players to bring into the national team 23, to bring into the under 23 program, to bring into the under 21 program, and start seeding those teams now with the aim of having a supply of core players going forward. So we don't come to these tournaments looking for players. We would have these cores already existing with the expectation that the under 15s are going to matriculate to the under 17s and so on and so forth. But still having enough flexibility to bring in the outlier who shows up in Slovenia or who shows up in MLS. Because at the end of the day, what we have to, if we're being totally realistic about Jamaican football, we will never have a Jamaican pro league in the context of a pro league. We will have our league that will generate young talent to send to a pro league in Europe or South America. That is a real reality for us. And we have to get used to that. Jamaica just is too small. We don't have the internal resource to build a league of that quality. And we can talk all we want about all these other places that may or may not have it. If you look at the finances of this thing, short of being an oil republic or somebody who has money from some other, you can't do it. We would have to literally import 12.5 billionaires and say, put together a team. So something along the lines of Mount Pleasant, if you can find 18 more of them, then maybe. But the reality is to run a professional football club. And I'm not talking about a Arnett Garden or a Harborview. They are not professional football clubs. I don't want anybody get upset with me, but they are not. A professional football club has players coming into an academy at a proper age where they are trained and groomed as a sellable resource of the club, as an asset, right? That is the reality of a professional football club. We don't have any in Jamaica quite yet. And to think that at a population of under 3 million, we're going to generate, 18 of them to run a league? Wishful thinking, that this doesn't even qualify. This is, let's be realistic here. So if we are serious about this, what we have to grasp is that for us, the professional league for the Jamaican players has to be the global professional leagues. We have to be systematic and strategic in identifying which leagues we will progress our locally developed players through, but also which leagues we are looking for Jamaican players to bring into our national programs. We have to think along those lines. It's nice to say, boy, we are Jamaican, we can do anything. And we do it in track and field, but you do it in track and field because track and field is an individual sport. It's completely different from a team sport where you have to have, for a team of 11, you realistically have to have 50 players of equal caliber to have a team play, to get to anything in a tournament. And that is what the game is about. It's about major tournaments that you have to go to with the necessary preparation and talent to do well. We cannot do it with our population if we simply choose to be based out of Jamaica. And I know I'll get a lot of flack for this, but I'm not, I do this for a living. and I'm telling you, it is extremely, extremely difficult, and especially when you don't have money. A Qatar will do it because a Qatar has mega billions of oil money. And look how much trouble they're having. They have progressed tremendously, but the reality is they're still minnows in the game. Bahrain, all of those countries.
So Michael,
yes.
Michael, I want to answer a question, and I want to pose this question to Coach Des. The Qatar, the Austria camp